All right, I think we're live. So welcome everyone to another Matt Maran Motoring live stream here on the Matt Maran Motoring YouTube channel. Hope you're all having a great weekend here so far, and a good Labor Day weekend as well for those of you that maybe have the extra day off here tomorrow in the States. And yeah, thanks so much for tuning in and hanging out with me here on a Sunday evening. So like all the other usual live streams, we're going to go for about 2 hours or so. We give priority answering to anyone who does a super chat or a super thanks, as well as anyone who's a member there with the green usernames. They always get that priority answering. But yeah, I see we have Cars, Trend Car Guy, Grand Admiral Thrawn, Kyle, Wheatman, Austin, Danny, and also B. Mitchell, Vishal. Thanks so much for joining in, everyone. I guess we will see tonight if it's a little bit of a lower turnout, if everyone's got parties and other things that they're hanging out at. So maybe we'll go a little shorter this week. We'll see what happens. But I see Cars says, hi, everyone. I've been seeing a lot of interesting vehicles. Last week, I saw 2 Rivian R1S SUVs, a Nissan GTR, and a transporter carrying Cybertrucks and other Teslas. And I recently saw an RX-7. Nice. Yeah, RX-7s are always fun to see. It's very rare around here even. So it's always fun to see one of those for sure. And see, Chuck Carter says greetings from Arizona, and Grant says good evening, Auburn, Indiana this weekend. Or wait, sorry, jump to another comment here. Grant says good evening, everyone. Hope everyone is having a safe and fun holiday weekend. I agree. Hope everyone's having a good one, and make sure you stay safe out there. And let me see. So B. Mitchell said they were at a collector car auction in Auburn, Indiana this weekend. So any interesting car sightings don't count for them for him. So yeah, I saw a couple of things, and I'm always like, I'm gonna remember it. I saw another second gen Cavalier, which is always funny to see. But there was something really out of the ordinary that I saw. Man, I just saw it yesterday. I thought I was gonna remember it, but I've forgotten it. I will see if it comes back to me later. But saw a couple cool things here over the Labor Day weekend. But Kyle says hey, and so does Wheatman and Austin. And Danny says, hey, Matt, my interesting car spots of the week in New Jersey were a Saturn Astra and a second-gen Audi Allroad. I took a double take when I saw the Astra. I love seeing those 2 cars still on the road. Yeah, that is a rare one. And it's such a cool little car. I love that era of Saturn when they were bringing the European stuff over, because why not? And yeah, it's pretty cool. I appreciate all the love there, everyone. And Mitchell says we'll go shorter this week, and a bunch of ahas. Yeah, we'll see. Like I said, it all comes down to if we have questions still flowing and everyone wants to hang, then we'll keep hanging, but we'll see what happens. And Weedman says the new Q5 and SQ5 is out. I just saw that on Instagram briefly while I did my little video about how I'm going to be live here. I just saw that, and it's really funny how Audi still loves to do the copy and pasting kind of thing with their styling. It's like, take the A5 and just stretch it upward a little bit and, copy and paste the front end and the back end, and it's all the same. It's a little disappointing. I think this is why I admire companies like Hyundai so much, who do these radically different designs for every single vehicle. And it's just a lot more daring and bold, but I think it actually makes a difference. And I think it does at least make an impression on the public and makes a car stand out more when it's like, oh, wait, what is that? It gives you more interest in the brand versus like, oh, well, it's an Audi. And I guess they want to have that signature look, but I just kind of wish they'd be a little more creative and a little more daring with the German styling sometimes. Raphael, thanks for stopping by as well. And Jewel says, hi, everyone. Good to see you all tonight. Thanks for joining in, Jewel. Jazz says, Matt, any insights or experience or know of anyone who has pursued lemon law remedy for problems with a vehicle? Well, I know every state's different, because Pennsylvania, I think it's like, I don't remember the exact numbers, but it's a certain amount of days in the shop in the first year or something. I've heard through the grapevine a couple of people in the past that have gone through the lemon law process over my lifetime, but yeah, I don't have any recent experience or any detailed experiences with that, so I can't give you too much advice. And again, that'll come down to your state as well. But I think it's good those laws exist, because there are sometimes just lemons. Sometimes there's just one bad one off the line, and it's important that doesn't leave you hanging high and dry there. So let me see. I also have Fook says hi, guys. Thanks for joining in, Fook. And Two-Track says hi as well. I see Eric and Shane. Thanks for stopping by too. And Austin says, hey, Matt, I saw a Rady review the new EV Charger. I honestly like the styling, but man, that range is terrible for the price compared to a Tesla. Yeah. So as far as the Charger, I mean, it was nice. I mean, I did my walk around video a couple of months back on it, and the thing that just blew me away was how big it feels. It feels really, really big. I appreciate all the love there as well, guys. It's always nice to see the little emojis there. But yeah, it's really big. That's the one thing that stood out to me. We will have to see, how it drives. We'll have to see, what the real world range is. We'll see if, the R-Wing and all those tricks can actually help. But yeah, it's going to be, an EV for performance. It's not, I mean, they said as much. They said, we put wide tires on it. We put the biggest brakes ever. We don't care about aerodynamics. They straight up said we don't care about aero. I mean, then they put the R-Wing on, which means they care a little bit, but I think that was, again, just trying to, still have cool styling without, completely killing range. But, I mean, yeah, if you're comparing it to Tesla, obviously, yeah, Tesla's, some of the most efficient stuff out there. Not the most efficient. Lucid has beaten them with that. But I mean, obviously, you're talking about a vehicle that, the Teslas largely look like, especially the Model Y, to me, still looks a little jelly beany. And that's why they do that, because you get the better aerodynamics there, So, I think we're going to see more and more of this as we go forward, of brands that are worried about range with their EVs and brands that are worried about performance. And they don't care if the range sucks. It's not the point. And so I think same deal even with the Ioniq 5N. That car is not good on range, and it's not supposed to be. They don't care. That wasn't the focus. Same as, anyone doing any kind of gas powered car, you're not worried about fuel economy and something that's super powerful. It's the same kind of mentality, I'd say. But yeah, compared to a Tesla or any other, efficient EVs, yeah, Charger's not going to be very impressive in that regard for sure. Kyle says, how much of a markup do you think will be added to the automatic GR Corolla when it comes out? That's going to largely depend on your area. I think as far as gauging what kind of demand there's going to be for it, I think there's going to be a decent amount of people who do want it. It's hard for me to even nail down like how many people are on the sidelines with cash in hand actually wanting that. I think there's a decent amount of people. I think, a lot of people in LA, places like that, where they sit in lots of traffic. If you live in an area where there's a lot of traffic and you have a traffic problem that keeps a lot of people out of manuals, I think you're going to have, those places. Like, I think LA, it's going to be really hard to get one for a while. And there's going to be some of that. And, anywhere. I mean, you could be in the middle of nowhere, and if a dealer thinks that their GR Corolla is, a Ferrari, then they're going to, charge markups regardless of whether there's any kind of rational thought behind it, So, I mean, I think that there's some of that. And this is why, even with when the GR Corolla first came out with the manual, I had told people, look, you gotta get out of your local neighborhood dealers. You gotta expand your search radius, travel, find what you want, especially with Toyota, since you can't order them. If you want the color you want, if you want the packages you want, it probably isn't going to be dropped on your doorstep at your local dealer. You're going to have to travel. And there's dealers out there that don't do markups. They might not be local dealers, but there are dealers that do that. So, that would be my advice, is go out as far as you possibly can and expand that net. And I think if you expand that net, you can find any with the markups or with any markup. And I talked to my brother-in-law that they had I think I talked about this last week a little bit too, but he had a GR Corolla Core, I think, coming in any day now. It was a manual, but he was like, yeah, I'll do MSRP on it. If anyone wants it, let me know. So, there's MSRP deals for sure on GR Corollas. It's just a matter of finding the right dealer. So that's really what it comes down to. And unfortunately, Toyota doesn't have a good search as far as inventory search kind of tool or anything. So you got to just do the legwork. You got to call around and see, is the advertised price actually the real price, or are you just playing games? There's a lot of headache involved in that. And I know that's not for everyone. And some people just simply don't have the time or the patience or both to do those things. So I don't blame people who don't want to expand their search radius, but I think it's important. If money is a concern to you, I think it's worth a few extra phone calls. It's worth a road trip. I'd rather spend $500 on a flight to the other side of the country and buy from a dealer and save myself a few $1,000s and reward an MSRP dealer than caving for the sleazy dealer trying to squeeze you for every last penny. So that's me. Again, not everyone has that luxury to travel and all that, but that would be the way I would play that, Kyle, if you are trying to hunt that down. And also, if you're interested in that, a lot of dealers do keep lists of, a wait list of people who want these. So it's also going to be a patience thing. If you are someone who, wants to have the very first one, that's where they kind of get you oftentimes with those markups. But if you are willing to wait and, wait for the third or fourth one to come in, or find a dealer that maybe doesn't have a ton of demand, maybe you can get to be number one on their list, but their allocations will be a little slower. It's just this whole game you got to play. I think there is a GCOR subreddit or something like that, or a Facebook group. And I know sometimes those groups kind of share notes on, okay, here's the dealers that are MSRP, here's the blacklist of crappy dealers, don't bother with them. And, people can kind of maybe give you a gauge of what dealers might already be stacked with a ton of people waiting and all that. It's a lot, there's a lot there. So it just comes down to, again, your patience with all that. But hopefully it helps you a little bit. And I think that these types of vehicles, they are worth the hassle, though. It is, again, everyone likes different things. I mean, just because I love GCOR doesn't mean everyone else will. But that car is a car that I would bend over backwards for if, I really wanted one and obviously could afford one. I would happily, go through those hoops because I think it's worth it versus strolling down to your local dealer and picking out one of the 20 WRXs that are sitting there. That to me is a less fun experience. Still fun, but less fun, for oftentimes the same or similar money. So anyway, I'll move on, but it helps you a little bit, Kyle. Good Stick says, I saw a Toyota TCell Wagon 4-wheel drive the other day. I'm surprised these cars are still running. Yeah, I mean, they're indestructible. So as long as the bodies hold out, that's really the main thing, is as long as the rest of it doesn't rot away, that motor will keep powering those little things till the end of time, probably, if you keep up with them. And let me see. So, other questions here. So Danny says, here's some of the specs for the rumored new WRX STI. It's going to use the same 2.4 as in the normal turbo. It's going to have around 405 horsepower. That would be amazing. Yeah, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, the only thing I will say is, just if that is it and it's just a regular turbo and there's no electrification, I mean, they can certainly do it easily. I'm sure the aftermarket already has, but from an OEM standpoint, that's a big jump. And honestly, more than I think they would feel the need to do. So my knee-jerk reaction to that rumor is that is probably far-fetched. I'd love to be wrong. But I think if you look at the competitive set, again, GCOR is 300 horsepower. You got Civic Type R and Integra and stuff like that. They're a little punchier. Golf R is a little punchier, but not by much. I think even if they did 330, they could call it, good, and I think be top still, right? Even 350 would be plenty. Going to 405, the thing is, yeah, you can build the motor. You can, again, easily do it, but the warranty claims of that kind of stuff, the more you push a motor that, even if it has been adapted for that kind of power, if it's not already a powerhouse to begin with and it's not built for that from day one, and you're adapting a new motor and trying to, improve everything else inside so it can handle that kind of power, you do sometimes have some issues. And, so basically the higher you boost the motor, the more the warranty claims go up inevitably, because you're just stressing it more. So for that reason, I don't think if we saw an STI, I don't think it would go over 350 horsepower. Again, I'd love to be wrong. I'd love to have something completely insane, but that's my take on that. Again, we will see what happens. I just would love to see any kind of new STI. It'd be really refreshing, honestly, and kind of give me confidence that maybe Subaru is listening to fans actually a little bit more than we maybe give them credit for. I don't know. So we'll see. And Dom says, hey, good to see you, Dom. Thanks for stopping by. And Dylan says, I got to drive a couple of friends' cars at Autocross recently, a current gen M2 and CT4V Blackwing. If money wasn't an issue, I'd be buying a Blackwing right now, tomorrow, one day. Yeah, they are really good. I'm glad you got to experience it, though. That's great. And kudos to your friends there for letting you drive their cars. But yeah, CT4V Blackwing is very underrated. I mean, it's always been living in the shadow. It's big brother, with the CTSVs and all that in the past too. But ATS and CT4 both are fantastic cars that don't get enough credit or love, in my opinion. And it's just the easy choice to go for the M3, and there's certain advantages for sure, but yeah, I'd totally rock a Blackwing if I could as well. And Jazz says, Matt, the dashboard of the Mach-E seems kind of boring. I realize part of it is that it is an electric vehicle, but does the boring dashboard bother you relative to Hyundai or other electric cars? Not really. I think what I like about the Mach-E dashboard is there's some like fabric covering on it. It's kind of a different material makeup than the average just black vinyl or plastic or whatever. And honestly, the screen is such a dominating thing, and that's the thing that, we're interacting with. I'm not really checking out the dashboard a whole lot. So for me, I'm just appreciating like, I have gauges in front of me, which was one of the real deal breakers, with Teslas and others. Having the gauges there, having an easy to work screen with CarPlay and everything just working kind of allows me to just focus on the driving experience. And so, yeah, I mean, Mach-E, the interior isn't super exciting. It's not super creative or anything. But to me, yeah, it wasn't a big deal. Been totally fine with it. Mike says, do you think the bridge PHEVs like the Ram Charger and the new E-Rev from Hyundai will be largely disposable products or not necessarily? I don't think so. I think, they'll be as disposable as, like I think even like the current, RAV4 Primes and stuff like that are very much in demand. And, even if they are a bridge, there's always going to be someone that needs that bridge. There's, whether we're talking about people in Saskatchewan and, the middle of nowhere in Canada that, can't charge even in 50 years, they still don't have, charging, as plentiful as they need it, or people that just simply, want to electrify, but they don't want to be bothered with having to plug in, apartment dwellers, city people who just would like that, and they'll maybe plug in whenever they do go to the grocery store, but maybe they don't go to the grocery store every week, or they're not on some rigid schedule where they can count on a charge, at a reliable interval. And so, it gives you that flexibility. And I think that's the nice thing with the range extenders, especially is, you have that option. And I think like, yeah. And so, yes, maybe if, those people, for example, that buy the Ram Charger here in the fall, they're like, oh, wow, well, I'd actually realize I don't need more than 200 or 300 miles of range. Like, silly me, I'll go buy the Ram Electric next or something. And then they dump the Ram Charger, but then there's always gonna be someone else who's skeptical that's now on the sidelines. It's gonna take us, again, decades and decades and decades to get everyone kind of, comfortable with this. And there's some people that never will be comfortable till the day they die. And that's, just again, the nature of human beings and change. And so, I think that those types of things, again, are always going to be valuable because everyone's in a different point. And so, something that might be a bridge, for some people, like we didn't even need a bridge. We jumped straight from gas into electric and we're never looking back. I don't think we really, love it. It fits our lifestyle and our usage case very well, but it just comes down to, where you live and your preferences there. That's a great question though. Thanks, Mike. And Good Stick says, why did Toyota in the 2000s not make any sports cars, but just regular cars? Only in the mid 2010s did they start making anything interesting. Leadership change. That's kind of the bottom line. Is Akio Toyoda, I think he took over 2010, 2012. I don't remember exactly when. I mean, he's been a part of it for a long time, but as far as when he actually rose to the ranks of being able to call the shots, you also have to keep in mind that in the 2000s, Toyota also had Scion, and we were living in the sport compact age where a lot of young people wanted affordable two-door cars and actually bought them. It didn't just say they wanted them online, but they actually went out and bought them in good numbers. And so, and this was, again, before everyone was obsessed with something rugged. There's just new fads now. The fad back then was, oh, I wanted to look cool, I bought a two-door. Now I want to look cool, I jack my Jeep up to the sky and put enormous tires on it or whatever. So it's just differences in, trends and fashion. But, they had Scion to be the cool brand. So Scion had, the boxy toaster on wheels. They had the, TC, and there's those types of things to help out. And also you have to keep in mind in the 2000s, Toyota was still, I wouldn't say licking their wounds, but they were recovering from Supra, which Mark IV Supra didn't actually sell very well. It was very expensive at the time for what it was. And I mean, lots of people had stories about Mark IVs just collecting dust in the 90s on showroom floors because no one bought a lot of them. And, so, Toyota tried this stuff in the 90s and they had some success for sure. And obviously Supra continued, all through from the 70s all the way through to the 90s and stuff. So it was something that was worth doing. Clearly, by the time they got to the fourth gen, it was still, a desirable vehicle. But, they had been there, done that at that point. And I think they were saying, okay, now's the time for the more compact sports stuff. This is kind of, where the trend was at that point in time. And so that's kind of, I think, why they bothered investing into that. But there's honestly just like Toyotas were just good appliances for much of that time as well. For people who wanted a regular Toyota, not a Scion or a Lexus, they just wanted something kind of bland. And that was kind of what they were known for. And I think they were kind of comfortable with that as well. Because it, cemented this very reliable kind of brand. If Toyota in the 2000s would have been experimental and done all kinds of weird, crazy things outside of Prius, but if they had done stuff that would have been unreliable or stuff that was a little sketchier or tried to push the envelope a little bit too much, then they might not have, been this, had this, very reputable, reliable kind of, just legacy that they now have. So I think they were kind of just in a setup mode for a lot of the 2000s. And I think that's what allowed them to get into the fun stuff. And I mean, like Scion FRS and, the BRZ, I mean, those, yes, they launched in 2012, but I mean, that took 5 years in the making. So, I mean, we're talking back in 2007 or 2008 when they were conceiving these things. I mean, so even in the late 2000s, they were aware like, okay, we got the sport compact stuff, but we need to do something a little bit more earnest and a little more legit. And so, they made basically a baby front engined Porsche Cayman. As far as the handling in many, people's minds, it's a fantastic car. And I think that was kind of them being like, okay, we're going to get serious about this again and get back into true, rear-wheel drive sports cars and stuff. So I think, and again, a lot of that was Akio Toyoda's influence. So I think we have him to thank for how awesome Toyota is. I mean, again, there's lots of other great people working to make those dreams a reality, and also, spearheading this. We got now Koji Sato as the new CEO, who is also, the GR, racer, and just a very, very wholehearted enthusiast as well. So I think we're in good hands going forward too. But yeah, I think that's kind of the whole deal as far as why they didn't branch out too much, because there was just different tastes back then. And let me see here. Two, thanks for stopping by. He says the basement is live. Thanks so much for being a member for 27 months too. I really appreciate it. Hope you're doing well. And yeah, thanks so much for stopping by here. And let me see, getting back to the other member questions. Fook says, I'm not a truck guy, but the Maverick Lobo stirred my feelings. A tad expensive though. Will you have one anytime soon? Unfortunately not. So they said, I think that's, if I remember correctly, they said, I think Q1 of 2025, as far as like when they'll even be, showing up with dealers. And Ford is very slow at sending me press vehicles typically. So, I mean, honestly, I couldn't even guarantee that I'll review it in 2025. So that's not the answer I'm sure you were hoping for. The good news, though, is Ford has recently started inviting me on stuff. So that is encouraging. We will see if they invite me for the drive of that, then that could potentially, that's something I would certainly go on. And then I could potentially, maybe if they invite me, I'll have a drive on that. Cause they actually did invite me to the, I think they invited me for the early debut of that. They're starting to invite me on the reveal kind of events. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. I'm hoping that I can kind of start covering Fords a little more timely than I have in the past. Because I think Lobo is really cool. I mean, I've been screaming from the mountaintops for years that, someone should get back into the sport truck business. And I mean, who better than Ford, who makes the top selling truck? I think Maverick's a really fun way to do that and do it at an affordable level instead of some $75,000 F-150 that's got a GT500 motor or something on it. Let me see. So to respond to a text here real quick, but getting back to other member questions here. Let me see. So Great Admiral Thrawn says, what are your thoughts on Frank Rhodes wanting to buy Chrysler? I think it would be good for the company. So yeah, interesting question. So that did pop up I saw, and for anyone who's not familiar with that, that is I think the great grandson of Walter Chrysler. I might be miscrediting who he is, but basically he wants to buy. I think he said he wanted to buy Chrysler, Dodge, and Plymouth, and like kind of go back. I think his quote was like he wanted to bring inspiration from the past, but innovate for the future. And he just thinks that Stellantis is just not giving especially credit the attention it deserves. And sure, if you're, not listening to the press releases and the presentations where they're saying like, we have Chrysler stuff coming, just give us a few years. Right now they got the Pacifica and that's old. And it just really seems like they're just abandoning Chrysler, but they're not. They do have new stuff coming. They have, like a Mach-E competitor coming, and a few others. So I'm hoping that, Chrysler will kind of have a nice renaissance here, hopefully. As far as, whether it'd be good for the company, it's hard to say, because Frank Rhodes, does he have the pockets deep enough, like truly deep enough to do impressive stuff? Like, just to put this into perspective, like Lawrence Stroll, who's one of the people I believe who's helped save Aston Martin, who was they're kind of struggling there for a while and weren't doing super well, and people were kind of wondering, do they have a bright future? And then he came in, and I think it was the one other guy too who's currently leading Aston Martin, but they came in, and I believe the one guy is like a billionaire. Like, we're talking like serious kinds of money. I don't know if this Frank Rhodes is that wealthy, but I mean, you gotta put a ton of money in. Sure, you can get investors and stuff if they really believe in your dream of what you want it to be. I also don't think Stellantis will even get rid of it, especially not Dodge. I could see you maybe say, okay, sure, they'd sell Chrysler and Plymouth for sure, maybe, but they wouldn't get rid of Dodge, I don't think. And I don't think he'd be interested in it without Dodge. But yeah, I don't think there's any chance of it happening. That's why I honestly didn't even cover it in the weekly update, because it seems so out of the realm of possibilities realistically to me. It's always great to hear new people's ideas for how they think a brand should be run. I often comment on this myself, on how things I would like to change, for various brands. So I'm sure, cool, it'd be great to have someone who loves Chrysler's history and bring back the airflow and bring back all kinds of cool stuff. But I'm not convinced, that would actually be profitable, because as enthusiasts, we oftentimes want things that unfortunately don't make market sense, and that's the thing. It's so hard to keep in mind, and I also have to remind myself of this all the time too, that they do all these focus groups, they do all this research, they have so much data on buyer preferences and why people have bought what they've bought and why they have skipped others that they haven't bought, and they collate all this data, and then they got to make the hard decisions of, okay, well, like, what do people actually want? And then what can we actually give them for the price they're willing to pay for it? And can we do it in decent numbers? And then can we still also make a profit off of this? And is it something we can even do at all? Do we have the engineering support for it? Do we have the parts bin stuff for it? Do we have the suppliers that can actually make this happen? And can we make it happen in a reasonable time? And then, oh yeah, we got to worry about the government and restrictions on, various things and emissions. And, can we do styling like this because we need to have it be compatible with pedestrian stuff? I mean, there is a zillion of those concessions that have to be made as, something goes from concept or idea to production, and stuff has to be compromised and watered down along the way if you want to actually make it a reality, So there's a lot of complication, and that just, that's the tough part. And so I think, a company like Stellantis that has enormous amounts of money, I think is, some of the best to invest in these brands. And I think it was commendable when Stellantis took over a couple of years ago. They gave every brand 10 years to prove their worth and said, okay, we're giving you all development money. We're giving you all free reign, to do what you need to do to make your brand a success, and then come back in 10 years and, cut the ones that haven't done what they need to do. They could have just started cutting immediately. The second they showed up, they could have been like, okay, let's cut this, that, and the other. Let's cut Chrysler, because what's the point? They could have done all this really fast, and they didn't. They decided to, have patience and see what happens with these brands. So I think Stellantis is actually, yes, you can agree or disagree about how they're playing things right now. And obviously they have plenty of struggles and cars piling up on lots and stuff. But I think, a lot of this stuff is going to be a wait and see kind of thing. I think there's some of these things like the Chrysler problem of, you got to give them some time to, get this new investment in that just came in from Stellantis, in 2021 or 2022. You got to give them a few years for that money to start showing up in product, because that doesn't happen, in a year or two. That happens in 4 or 5 years or more sometimes, so it's a slow gestation that needs to happen to get the final product out there that's a result of all this investment. And then you judge that product. And if it still sucks, then, maybe Frank can step in, or someone else. But, maybe that's something, again, I don't know how old he is, but that's something that maybe if Stellantis doesn't prove their worth, and in 2031 or 2032, whatever it is for the deadline of that 10 years to prove their worth, if it still is like, all right, well, this brand's not going anywhere, sell it to Frank, along with Plymouth and whatever other dead brands he wants, and maybe that'll be the way it goes. I don't know. I think, everything's on the table for them right now, so I just have to wait and see. But anyway, yeah, it's an interesting idea, and yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Grand. And again, apologies for the long rants. I will make sure I get to everyone's comments, and I see we also do have a couple of super chats. So, thank you so much for the first super chat of the night. He says, just a post as a tribute to Rob Rabbit Pitts, great storyteller in the auto space. Rip Rob, absolutely. Yeah, I hope he rests in peace. And always sad to lose an enthusiast. And I didn't know him. I've never honestly watched any of his stuff. I had never heard of him until that stuff started popping up, because again, I just don't watch a lot of YouTube and car TV stuff, but always sad to lose an enthusiast. So hope all of his loved ones and all that are finding their peace as well. But and let me see, Brian, thank you so much for a super chat as well. He says, which do you prefer, Matt, Z06 or E-Ray? Absolutely Z06. Z06 all day long. Sounds so much better. It's more fun in my mind to drive. And yeah, it's better in every way. Like, I kind of struggled I said in my E-Ray how I was struggling to kind of see the appeal for E-Ray. And it's such a tiny niche of people, I think, that would fall into that niche of people who would, want Z06 performance, but not a Z06 from a Corvette. Just, yeah. It's a cool, fun science experiment, and I think it's a cool way to kind of show off what they can do in the future. But Z06 is where it's at. I actually did see a Z06 this afternoon in white. It was a super plain one, just white, no wing, no carbon, anything, just like bare bones base white Z06, which I actually respect someone for building it that way. But I was like, is that a Z06? I'm like, yeah, that's definitely the Z06 front bumper. And it looks great, even just like that. But yeah, thanks, Brian, for the super chat. And let me see, I'm also going to do a poll, because Beth has offered to make an appearance. So I will do a poll here and see if you guys would like to have her hop in here, and you can chime in. Again, no hard feelings if you would rather just have me get caught up on the super or on the member questions here, because we will definitely get more behind on those if we introduce Beth and just have more of the personal chats like we sometimes do here. But totally up to you. But let me see. Let me type this out here. All right. And I see Jazz says no poll necessary. I appreciate that, but just figured I'd put it out there just to make sure, because I don't want everyone to have to comment no if they do feel like a no. But so far, 100% yes here. 95. Okay, someone's being honest. They're saying no, or they just like being a contrarian. But okay, so I mean, it seems overwhelmingly positive. So I don't know if Beth is monitoring the live here or not, but I can text her and tell her to stop by. And in the meantime, we will we'll get it caught up on the other questions in the meantime. But all right. see if I can quickly go through some of these without getting on too much of a tangent. Ralph Simmons says, hello, Matt. Hope you and everyone have a safe holiday. Peace from Virginia, bro. I appreciate that, Ralph. Thanks for stopping by. And yeah, hope you're doing well in Virginia there. I have many friends in Virginia. It's a great place. Austin says, hey, Matt, my friend was thinking of trading in his GR Corolla for a new GTI, but they only offered him 33 grand for it. Surprising, less than 10K on it. I wonder if Volkswagen's just lowballing or used market getting soft. I mean, I think they're just getting greedy. I mean, dealers are famous and love ripping people off on trades. You would think a GR Corolla owner would know, like, that they would know not to try that with them, that they would obviously know better. But yeah, there's no way. I mean, I think the cheapest, like, rough GR Corolla that I saw in the used market a couple months back when I was looking was like maybe 35, and I think it had a couple of mods, and I actually it was 35 because the Carfax showed that it had an engine replacement. So, and that was still 35. Obviously they want to have some profit margin in there, so they give you 33 or him 33, and they want to put a few grand in on it and make a little bit of a padding there for themselves. But no, I wouldn't take that. I mean, I think on the private market, especially if it's not a core and it's a higher trim, you should still be able to get close to 40 for it. So I think they're definitely low. I mean, that's just the dealer way, right? And Kyle says, an Infiniti dealer north of me has 3 Q50 Red Sports at 10 grand off MSRP right off the bat. I know the design is years old, but that seems pretty decent. Absolutely. That's a great buy, I think. The only thing is they depreciate pretty good. So it makes it hard. And I think that's why, you're seeing those huge discounts on them. I agree. It still looks great. It's still 400 horsepower. And that's a lot of car for the money. So absolutely, I think that those are great buys. I always love the Q60 as well. I thought it was so underrated. Great styling and just a great car. Sixlick says, checking Toyota's inventory site for allocations every couple hours is a good way to see what's available. Interesting. I didn't know that it was updated that frequently. Well, that's useful info. Thanks for that. And Zachary, thanks for stopping by as well. I appreciate you moderating here tonight. Trent Cargay says, I saw a Daihatsu mini truck a few weeks ago that was recently imported. Nice. I hope we see more of those mini trucks. Actually, I was just at a little safari park a couple of weeks ago, and they had one of those little K trucks just driving around, just doing safari work and stuff. And I'm like, yes, I'm so glad that people are, seeing the brilliance of these little things that are totally sufficient for so many people. And it's a shame that some of these states are trying to outlaw those things, yet they think a Model T is safe on the roads, but not a K truck. Like, are you kidding me? It just screams of people that know nothing about cars or common sense, clearly, trying to restrict things for no reason. I don't know. I mean, maybe there's more to it that I'm unaware of, but just seems like it makes zero sense. But yeah, hopefully we see lots of those little things. I think that's a really good antidote for the current high prices we have, especially for trucks and people that, can't get their hands on a Maverick or something. I think these mini trucks are great just for those basic purposes. And Kyle, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships as well. Really appreciate the generosity and happy to see everyone able to grab those. Let me see. Antonio says, hey, Matt, I'm listening to this live at the gym during my workout. Awesome. I hope you have a good workout. I miss the days of having time to work out. It's something I really enjoyed back in the day. But these days, my workout is lifting a heavy toddler she's growing big and strong, and it definitely gives my body a run for its money. So that's my workout these days, and it's the best workout in my opinion. It's a lot of fun. But Bab says, hey, Matt, we finally bought our new family car yesterday, a 24 MDX Advance in white. We love it. Thanks for all your videos about it. You and Beth definitely informed our decision. That's awesome. Congrats, Babs, and hope you guys enjoy it. MDX is a great choice. They're really, I think, still to this day, probably my favorite handling one of the bunch as far as those, non-performance level, luxury 3 rows and stuff. They're fantastic. So yeah, hope you enjoy it. Hope it treats you well, and congrats. It's always fun getting a new car. So hope you enjoy it. And let me see. Good Stick says, with the Q50 gone, the Z is probably the only way to get an enthusiast car from Nissan. We can see the new Z finally sell better. Thank you for reminding me. The Z, I saw a Z yesterday. That was the car that I was like, holy crap, someone finally bought one. It was a black, new Z, and aside from, I think I saw one last year. This is the first one I've seen on the roads outside of the press car and the media drive ones that I saw. It was like, I was like, wow, someone finally bought one, or a dealer finally let one go for a reasonable price. Amazing. So I'm hoping I see more of them at some point, but I don't know about you guys, but they are still like non-existent pretty much around me, which is crazy because we have I live in a place where we have a decent amount of people that have money and can buy sports cars. I see C8s almost on the daily at this point, but I never see Zs. So exciting that they're out there. But anyway, I agree. Yeah, with the Q50 gone, the Z is pretty much it. So we will see. But we have Beth has joined the stream here. She's just stepped in, so you can pull up a chair and. This is cool. We haven't had Beth come on for several months here, so we're graced by your presence here. Jeez. Not to build you up too much here, but and the poll, 84% said yes. So hopefully the majority are okay.
Sorry, everyone.
Hopefully, those few don't get too upset.
Hello,
but
sorry.
Let me turn this so you can. Better view, and you can see we're working on the DeLorean Back to the Future there. Sorry, I wasn't pointing at your shirt or anything.
I can't even see it on the
what it's blocked by the phone, so you can't. But it's on the screen, I promise. But all the little cars, it's over.
Right.
Gotta go backwards since it's inverted.
Right.
There you go.
There.
Yep.
Wait.
We're making good progress. What? Yeah, you can bring it over if you want. For anyone who hasn't seen the Lego DeLorean from Back to the Future, it was a birthday gift because we built the Aston Martin DB5 there from James Bond. And so this is a fun little weekend project. Me and my daughter, we built it together. And
I did not build it.
This is just like a fun
I
thing
love Legos, but sorry, it's Lego.
Everyone. Apparently, that's the way the brand likes to refer to it. But it has the light up flux capacitor in there. Yeah. And so her daughter loves pressing that little light there. And she put the Playmobil ones because we had some of the other Back to the Future stuff, and they fit actually better than the Lego guys do because they're too small.
Tiny in there.
But yes, we got the taillights in there and some of the bottom stuff. No, this is the only one. There's kits you can buy to get all the other lights. So
right, I saw that. That's like $100.
Yeah,
but pretty expensive.
So that's what we're working on, and it's so much fun. I was never into Legos as a kid, but like now, actually, whenever I worked with them,
had them. Sorry,
yeah, I never did, but that's the one thing. Like whenever I did the Bugatti up there, and Lego actually like paid me to do like a integration back in like 2019. I was like, this is actually kind of fun. So that actually kind of got me into them, and now I'm kind of hooked.
Hello, everyone.
But so I will maybe get back to some of the member questions later.
I'm sorry,
but no, it's okay. I just because I don't want to make sure that I want to make sure those get answered. But I also want to jump down here to the chat to anyone else that has any questions for Beth in particular, since again you can always hear me ramble about nonsense any other week here. But everyone says welcome here.
Yes, I can read.
I'm just narrating for everyone else that might not be staring at the chat here. But let me see.
I know it's been a while. I feel like the last time I was on here was in like March or April.
Yeah, probably.
It's been a while.
Yeah. Brown says Matt is happier around Beth.
It's true. Yeah. I just am the light of his life.
We have a good time for sure. And
sometimes I don't know.
Well, but I guess in the meantime here I can
I'll drink to that.
Wait, let me see. Oh, I see Brian. Sorry, I missed your other super chat there. He said, yeah, everyone have a good and safe day tomorrow. Yeah, hope everyone has a great Labor Day here if you're in the States.
Matt does not have a Labor Day tomorrow.
Yeah, but it's a regular work day for me because to get days off, it means I got to work extra some other day to make up for it. Because if I'm not working, videos don't get posted. So it never stops for me, but that's okay because I love what I do. But let me see. I'll just answer a couple more member questions while we wait for Beth questions to come in here. But Danny says, when my grandma bought her 2009 Accord brand new, it was her first ever Honda. My dad said she had previously owned a Chevy Lumina sedan, and my grandpa owned a Pontiac Bonneville. Nice. That's that's cool. She branched out. I think there's a lot of people who were burned by American vehicles over, the 20th century, and they switched. I mean, my dad was that same way. He got burned by his Ford Tempo, and that scarred him from Ford forever. And he went to Subaru and never looked back. And I think there's been a lot of those kind of stories.
Yeah, I was really surprised when I got the Mach-E, to be completely honest, because I feel the same way. I was very burned by Ford, but
yeah,
I just wanted an electric car, and that's the one I like the best. So, whatever.
So Jay says, still love watching the blooper of Beth messing with you and you doing the Ace Ventura impression. Yeah, we should do another blooper. We don't do too many of the interior reviews these days, and then we also
and I think a lot of the times I was going on, I was just with you when you were doing car reviews. Like I would like hang out, and then like sometimes I would be like if we were at a park, I would like go run and do like a workout. And so I would be in the passenger seat, but like, it's like now, like we don't do that anymore.
Yeah. With our daughter, it's just like, that's usually the thing that you're focused on. And let me see. Grant's a sweet model collection. I appreciate that. Yeah, there is, because do you remember there is a tour that I did. That's another member exclusive video, the tour of the shelves. I think I did last year. I can probably do an updated one here, because maybe I've added a couple, but yeah, you can check that out. It should be like a members section where you can see that if you haven't seen that already, so you can get a close-up look at those. And Austin says, Beth, when you're going to collab on another Matt video?
I don't know.
We should. I mean, it'd be fun to do something like that's not like a car review or an interior review, like just something else, like a fun adventure video or something. Someday could be fun.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll vlog a road trip again someday, maybe next year or something.
Maybe. I've been considering branching out on my own, but we'll see.
Oh yes, we have.
Well, don't. Yeah.
I won't. Yeah.
Because I don't want to like tell everybody.
Yeah, but
yeah. I don't know. Listen, I have a very hard time starting anything. So I feel like for me, I have all these great ideas, but I can't
like execute them.
Yeah. I mean, I can execute them, but I just feel like I'm too afraid of failure. So that's so bad.
It's a challenge.
Should I leave?
No, there's a lot of people like with YouTube, even starting YouTube channels, for other things. They just like it's
I don't want to start a YouTube channel.
Right.
I tried that before. Yeah. It's not gonna work. So.
But yeah, we'll see what happens. But let me see. And also Bill, non-number question here, but just do a few of those as well. He says, if you were to replace the Mobile today, what would you get? So just you, not me talking. I'm just gonna shut up and let you say what you would do.
Well, if money was no object, I want a Bentayga because that's
won the lottery.
Yeah, that's okay. So, mom car would be a Bentayga, or if I was going fully electric, I would get a Taycan because I really want one of those. For me, I'm just like 100% in the like luxury vehicles. I feel like I've always loved all of those. So I feel like it's like those two are definitely my highest, but like obviously we can't afford that right now. Yeah. So I think I like love those two. I don't know what other ones I would. What about like if you had considering like, if I like
Mach-E level price wise?
I mean, I don't know. I just like I still really like the Mach-E, so I just don't know what. Yeah, we were just talking about it in the car yesterday. I have no idea where to go from here because I'm not necessarily married to a brand. I'm definitely not married to Ford. So I'm gonna have to see what is on the market in a couple of years when we're finally ready to get another car. But yeah, I think like those are my top two. So we'll work for that. If we have any sponsors here that are ready for that, it's fine.
Multi-million-dollar sponsors.
No, it'll just be a sponsored video. I can just like make a video every day of me being in these cars.
Right.
I'll make up for that, right?
Yeah. We do have a Bentley dealer close by, so we can try and get a collab going there or something.
Yeah, but I don't know if I were to replace it today. Those are the top two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, realistically, like we've talked about, if EX60 from Volvo is ready in 2026,
and
if we can afford that, which is a big if, probably I mean, again, we'll see and keep working hard and see what happens. But that's like a nice thing. I also, like I was telling her yesterday, like, you know, I'm really curious to see these new Toyota EVs coming in 2026. I love Toyota as a brand. I think they do some really good stuff. I also would like to buy from a brand that like supports the channel really well. Not like, again, and if Two's here, he's gonna say Toyota's still here, but you know, I mean, like, again, Ford hasn't shown me a ton of love in the past few years, and yet I've bought like nothing but Ford products here basically. And you know, like Mercedes gives us press cars. We had your two Mercedes, but like Mercedes has never like invited me on any events or anything either. So like, I'd like to like kind of support a brand and show appreciation for a brand that's shown appreciation for me. I mean, obviously, I'm still my car reviewer hat being objective. I'm like, I'm going to pick what's best for us and what we can afford, and you know what you want, obviously, because you're again the one driving it most of the time. But you know, it would be nice if everything aligns so it was a brand that, you know, has been kind to us. You know, so we'll just have to see. And again, Ford has been kind in the past. It's just they're a little tough to work with sometimes, it seems. But anyway, moving on here. Let me see. Good Stick says, how is your Mach-E deal? How does it deal with winter weather? My Tesla's battery drains very quickly during the winter months. Interesting. I'm surprised it's been bad for you with a Tesla, because I've heard they're not too bad.
I mean, I feel like ours drains, but like I honestly never noticed it because we don't drive that much.
Right.
I mean, like we do drive a lot. We go a lot of places, but first of all, we normally have press cars, and when we don't have press cars, we do use my car primarily. But we've never had any issues where I'm like, oh no, I'm like getting close to like my car being out of juice or anything like that. So I think like I haven't necessarily had any issues with it. So I think that that's been really great.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't drive it near enough to drain a battery on like a day or whatever.
I mean, we were so not concerned with range that like we literally selected the worst range Mach-E possible. We got this small battery and all-wheel drive, which is the worst combination.
But it's still like
still
we just
plenty for
didn't,
us.
yeah, we just didn't need it. So it was like, what's the point in paying all that extra money when we're not even going to touch it?
Right. And I mean, yeah, I think the lowest, like it's maybe lost, I'd say a quarter of the range, maybe a tiny bit more than a quarter in the winter versus what it usually does. But like the only instance where sometimes we're a little bit like where it's a little bit of a restriction is her one sister lives a little bit further away. And if we were to take her car, and it's in West Virginia where like there's hardly any chargers. So like that would be sometimes, you know, like, okay, well, maybe we wait for a press car to go down there and visit her, because like we don't want to like completely drain the Mach-E battery and have that be kind of a little bit of an issue. So that's the only time it's ever been a limit. So like ideally, I'd say like for a next EV, it'd be nice to maybe get an extra 50 miles of range. I think the Mach-E is rated for 220 for ours. So if we could get something closer to 300 miles, then that would even eliminate any anxiety as far as even that one very rare trip, which again is a non-existent issue.
Yeah, and it's like what we always say, like there's a lot of people we've noticed that buy trucks, and they say, we're buying a truck, you never know when we're going to move and we're going to need to move a mattress. And it's like, that's our situation, is like, are we gonna need that extra 50 miles, or like is it just like a
mental thing?
Yeah. So
yeah. And Jay, thanks for being a member for 14 months. He says, Grand Highlander, more Matt Juniors on the way. Brought presented to you by viewers like you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, no, thankfully, yeah, we are, I think, able to stick with the smaller cars here. No more Matt Juniors on the way, I think. So we're good with just, you know, a 2-row vehicle, thankfully. 3 rows are fine, but for us, it's just...
And I don't know. I like smaller cars. Yeah. I don't want to have something huge. I'm like scared of 3 rows. I actually learned how to drive on a, oh my gosh.
Caravan?
Yeah, a Dodge Grand Caravan So I was literally driving a van to high school like most of the time. And I just like, I was fine. I never had any issues, but I just like being small and compact. And that's why I got a Fiesta. I just like was like, I don't need a big car. Like, what's the point? It's just me. Like, yes, now it's the three of us, but I don't think we need like anything huge.
Right.
The Grand Highlanders do look nice though.
Yeah, they're great cars. If I needed 3 rows, absolutely. That's one of the mainstream ones that we've said, obviously a lot of times that we really enjoy.
And I like the Santa Fe. The Santa Fe looks really cool. I've seen a lot of those around.
Yeah. And let me see. So, Bab says, we've been watching lots of older reviews, and Matt's looks change year to year, flowing hair. But Beth, you were timeless. Appreciate your insights on interiors.
Thank you.
Even piano black, she says.
I know. I really just, I don't see, that's the thing. My hair is interesting.
A constant.
Well, yeah, it is. I'm surprised I'm wearing braids right now, but it was hot outside, so I just didn't want my hair on my neck. But my hair has literally, I've never dyed my hair. I've never done anything to it. And I think that that's probably why I like don't change at all, because
you don't want to start on that.
Like, I don't know. My hair's like red, and everyone my entire life has said like, don't dye your hair. And it's not like I just don't know what color I would do. I don't know. I'm not like, I don't know. So
and thankfully COVID hair wasn't a problem for you, because when I had my flowing hair, I kind of had no choice. So it was just like, well, I'm going to have the wavy 70s look. And
that's why I was pregnant, and we were just like we were not going anywhere.
Yeah. Thanks, Babs. Appreciate that. And Chad says, hey, Beth, what are the things most important to you when looking for a vehicle?
Oh God. I don't know. I really like, this is going to sound so bad, but I really like just like the look of the car. I love trying to figure out like how good the seats feel. I'm not like, I don't think I'm great at like figuring out how things drive. That's why like an electric car is really great for me. But because like, I honestly like, I got my Fiesta. I bought it at the same day as my parents bought my mom a car, and they were like, do you want to test drive it? And I was like, no, I want a green car. I really like this one. It looks really cool.
I can hear the people like losing their minds hearing you say that.
Yeah, I know it was probably the most terrible like decision financially for me. They probably raked me over the coals with how much I was paying for that stupid
This is before I was on the scene, by the way.
It was about like 3 months. But so I just, it is what it is. But I think it's like more so the looks. I really love the technology in cars. So the ease of that is really nice for me. And something that's really high on my list is I love being able to have like the newest technology and things. Like I've always been like an Apple girl. I love getting like all the new Apple stuff every time the new stuff comes out. And it's like that. I like being like in the newest, freshest technology. So I feel like even a little bit safer, with everything being new and everything. I don't know. Maybe. Yeah. Does that make sense?
Well, I think it's just, yeah. And I think like this is a really important thing with cars these days. Like there's a lot of cars we hop in, press vehicles, and you're like, this is annoying to use. Like I would never have this car.
Oh yeah. I mean, we currently have the, what do we have?
Cadillac Lyric.
Oh yeah. The Cadillac Lyric. And our daughter wanted us to, play a specific song in the car tonight, and he was like, you find it. So I had my hand on the dash trying to change it, and my knuckle, because my hand was on here, my knuckle just went and bumped. What did it bump?
The one pedal mode, and all of a sudden the car starts like regen braking as I'm letting off the gas. I'm like, whoa, like what's going on?
I turned on the one pedal mode. He was like, you turned on the one pedal mode, and I was like, okay. So I pressed it again, and then it like turned it back on or something. I don't know.
Yeah, people behind us
it's like
are crazy.
It's like that kind of stuff. So I like, I don't know.
Yeah,
I just
you were like,
being
why do they have that button right there where my knuckle like lands?
Yes.
You know?
So
like,
once again, like another like interior thing that that I could have, given to you in a review. So here's the new here.
Yeah, getting the edge there. And let me see. So Alex says, hey Matt, can you explain the potential junkyard idea? Maybe live streams like that where you go out in certain places would kind of gain more viewers to watch and subscribe, especially if you do them kind of often. I agree. I 100%, like we talked about in last week's live stream, I'd love to do that, where just show up at a junkyard, live stream it, and just literally talk through it, right there as I'm going through it, and, walk the yard, fairly quickly. And I think that'd be a super cool way to kind of do the junkyard stuff with like zero time effort, aside from just, the drive there, walking around and driving back, but like zero production time,
Yeah, he's been talking about this for years and
I've wanted to do junkyard
stuff. Like, go do it.
But like in the last week's live
so
stream, like they just were like, let's do that as a live. Because I was talking about other ways, like maybe do lives,
smart,
and someone suggested that, and I'm like, ding, 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 like, all the light bulbs going off, like this is the perfect way to do it. So yeah, I need to reach out to Pull Apart. I didn't have a chance to do that this week because they do have a lot nearby, and they're the ones that, have been great to work with in the past. So if there's a way they've always given me an open door policy to show up, obviously, anytime I want, but just kind of see if I can, kind of work something out with them to maybe do a little bit of a, collab with them or something, maybe do a little bit of a sponsor, off of that or something as well. But honestly, I love going to junkyards. So it'd just be super gratifying. And if it, makes even a little bit of money and is, worth doing from a time money standpoint, then absolutely I'd go for it. And as you said, Alex, I mean, it could totally grow the channel, expand to people that, maybe aren't interested in new cars and give them something interesting to watch as well. So 100%, I'm very fired up for that. It's just, again, I have a lot on my plate for this month. There's a lot of little trips and things I'm going to be filming. So, but I'm definitely something I want to do before it gets too cold here, hopefully, and at least give it a trial run. And let me see. Gladys says, why didn't you get the Model X?
Yeah, I don't like Teslas. I think it's just and everyone has them around here. Yeah. And I think it was just kind of like the Mach-E was like a little bit newer. And we had the Mach-E as a press car. And I just really loved those seats. We had a Tesla one time before. We used it on Turo, and it was fine, but I hated the infotainment. I hated that I couldn't I didn't personally put my phone in. He put his phone in, but like I didn't like how I couldn't do Apple CarPlay and stuff like that. And so it's like that was a big no from me, because I like being able to use my phone and all of that stuff. And I just like Teslas to Tesla or nothing. So that for me was like, no.
I also don't think a Model X would even fit in our garage because of the gull-wing doors.
True. Yeah, that would be kind of, that wouldn't work. Yeah. Our garage is tiny. So yeah,
the ceilings are just pretty low. So I honestly, like a Model Y could probably fit easily, but I don't know if the X would actually be a good fit. So there's that as well. Good Six says, Beth, what are your thoughts on the Cybertruck?
Well, everyone was like, I'm seeing the Cybertrucks everywhere. And I was like, what the heck? I'm not seeing any Cybertrucks, and I'm driving around all the time. And I didn't see any Cybertrucks, and I'm like really upset about it. And then I finally saw them, and I saw 15 of them in the span of 2 days, and it was all in this one intersection, and it was every day I was seeing a Cybertruck right there. It looks super cool, and I feel like I would want to see it up close, but no, that is, it's
so
weird.
You like the way it looks though?
No, I don't like the way
it looks cool.
No, it looks, well, because it looks otherworldly, but I don't like it. So
no, you can
sorry.
say you like it. There's a lot of people that do.
I know, but I don't. You're laughing at me. I do, but no, sorry. I mean, it just, yeah, it's I don't want to offend anyone. That's why I'm like feel like I'm on the
No, it's
spot
okay.
right
You
now.
can be honest. It's all good.
No, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm not a Tesla girl here. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's weird. I think it's really weird. I saw like, I don't know, Kanye has like an all black one or something, and that's really weird. I saw it driving around and I was like, what the heck? No, sorry. Just not my style.
Yeah.
Not my speed. But I was just excited to see it because like everyone kept being like, whoa, I saw a Cybertruck.
You were missing out on the party.
Yeah. And so I finally was like, I finally saw a Cybertruck. Thanks.
Yeah. And Luke says failure isn't bad. You just found a way. Something didn't work. Absolutely. Yeah. You got to try. And part of that is failure.
Know.
And two, thank you for a super chat. He says, armchair planning for Celica. How would you get the most out of the nameplate? Use the Camry platform, base model 2.5 hybrid front wheel drive, 2.5 hybrid all wheel drive, the GT, and then GR Celica. And Decepticons excited to see two. Two is a legend around here. So, I mean, as far as me, he says basically cover multiple customers at different price points. I agree. I think that'd probably be the smart way to do it. I think you're right to say that they would probably go all hybrid because it seems like that is really going to be the trend here for Toyota in the future. Is there's not going to be any non-hybrid ones, and I think it honestly makes sense to do it that way. But yeah, I mean, I think that it'd be great to offer the all-wheel drive, be great to offer front-wheel drive, and then the GR. Yeah, I think you nailed it there. I think that's what I would do, and I think that I mean, the all-wheel drive thing. I guess maybe there's debate as far as whether they see a need for that, but I think. So I don't know how that would play, but I think, absolutely the 2.5 hybrid is probably what you're going to see. If they do something like that, they want to keep it at an affordable price point, that would probably be the way to do it. And I'd love to see GR Celica, man. If you had cool coupe styling with the GR Corolla powertrain, that would be amazing. Sign me up for that. But thanks for the super chat too. I appreciate it. And let me see here, some other questions here for Beth. Yeah, Cam Jim says, hi, Matt and Beth, not going to be able to stay, but wanted to say hi. Well, thanks for saying hi, Cam. Appreciate it. Grand's saying Ioniq 5N, which you didn't ride in, right?
No, I didn't ride in. We get all these cars and I never ride in them. So
it's just always because a lot of times
he puts the car seat in one car and then we don't even. I was really excited to see the Nautilus. We got a Nautilus and I was really excited to see that. And he was like, oh, it's so cool. You have to get in it. And then I didn't. So it's his fault.
I said you should get in it, then you didn't. It's just, we're always busy and always running around with our daughter and stuff. That kind of limits, the flexibility there as well. But yeah, I pick whatever car is like the most suited for family use. And that week, the Nautilus is fantastic for family use, but we had something else that was like more appealing to her, I think. I think it was the week we had the Audi RS7 actually.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was, and she likes going fast, our daughter. She's
okay, I thought you were gonna be like, it was all me.
No, no, she likes going fast.
She does like going fast.
She go ahead.
Okay, well, she is a daddy's girl through and through, and all she's always, we get in a car, she goes, Daddy, does this new car go fast? Is this one fast? Can we drive this one fast?
Yeah, but she also, like, one of the reasons why, like, I've been putting the car seats in the lower slung stuff is she likes trying to grab the grab handle. And this is a fun little, like, behind the scenes thing that you'll never hear otherwise. We've been driving, and in the cars where she can reach the oh shit handle is what it's called, I guess, right? She can grab that. She wants all of us to grab it.
So we all grab it at once.
I got one hand on the wheel. I'm holding mine. She's holding hers, and we're driving by people like cracking up because everyone probably thinks we're insane because we're like,
because we're all like holding on. But it's so funny because she's always like, hold on tight, everybody, and then I don't do it, and she's like, Mommy, hold on.
Yeah, so we have a good time, but so a lot of the SUVs that are really tall, we can't do that. So I think it was probably something like that, and also the RS7 being faster.
Well, yeah, you wanted to drive that one.
Well, that too. Yeah, it's really tough because there's some weeks where I'm like, I want to drive both a ton, and I gotta make this hard choice. Woe is me, but it's just means that I don't get as much drive time and some of the things as I would ideally like to have if I had all the time in the world. Dave says you two met on a film set, right? What film?
We did meet on a film set. It was called Not Cool from YouTuber Shane Dawson. So it was like
it's a really cringy movie.
It's
so,
well, yeah, it's for
so
sure
crappy.
a cringy movie. But I will say that it's kind of like confusing. We met on a movie that was being filmed as a reality TV show, but we were in the movie that was from the reality TV show. So there was a reality TV show called The Chair, where they put two hopeful directors together, and they both had to have the same script, and they had to make it their own, and then it was following how each one made their own movie. And so there was a girl who did her take on the script, and then Shane Dawson did the take on his script, and we were both picked to be extras on that together. And so that's how that came about. Yes, we were together for about a week, and then we haven't stopped seeing each other since. It's really tiring.
Yeah.
Just kidding.
And Victor says, what's your horoscope? I think it means sign.
Oh, what's my sign? I'm an Aquarius, so take that as you will.
Yeah, I know nothing about astrology, so
he's a Cancer.
Yeah.
So I know that apparently we don't match up well. So
is that what this? I'd say I didn't even know that. There you go.
Or maybe not, but I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm like,
I think we're great.
Yeah. Well, I just mean like some of the astrology stuff, like some of it's interesting. Some of the stuff I'm like, I don't know, is this actually like legit or like is it?
I don't know, but I work very heavily on Mercury retrograde. That always seems to screw me over. So,
or it's a convenient scapegoat, one or the other. But let me see. Danny said my parents met on the computer in 2001 or 2002 and got married in 2003. They've been married for 21 years now.
Oh, that's awesome. Cute. Love that.
Congrats to them. They're some of the pioneers on online dating.
That's so great.
And Austin says, I think it'd be cool to see you guys vlog. Might help with the algorithm and bring in more viewers.
We thought about that many times, but we literally do nothing. So
yeah, and also, we don't show our daughter online either. So that would make it hard to do. I mean, we could work around that, but it's just going to be a little bit harder, I think. Yeah. And also I
did try out a couple of times, but it didn't work.
Yeah. Because you did a vlog of like the auto show.
Yeah.
We did the one year.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I feel like I don't have a vlog personality. I know, like, I guess you don't really have to. You can just like film what you're doing. But yeah, like you said, we don't really. I sit in this office. Like, if you want to see a vlog of what I do, it's me staring at this screen that I'm looking at right now, editing the videos that you guys see, and I'm in this room for 12 hours
until 5 o'clock. Yeah. We eat dinner, and then we put our daughter to bed, and then maybe he comes back and works here.
Yeah,
or we
sometimes
just watch a TV show and go to bed.
Yeah. I mean, and then the other stuff that you see is just the reviews. And I mean, we've talked about, in the past, there'd be a cool like member video to do like behind the scenes of how I film a car review. But outside of that, again, I'd say as far as the interesting stuff, you probably already see. I mean, the most interesting stuff that I do is the car reviews and the cool cars I drive, and you guys see all that. The trips are cool. And if there was a non-awkward way to film those, that would be really fun. But the real like joy of going on these trips, for the media drives and stuff, is getting to talk with all these other YouTubers who I'm very thankful to call my actual friends, but just doing it without cameras and just us being our unfiltered selves and just doing everything. And when you post stuff online, there's always, you got to consider the backlash. You got to consider, okay, well, like, is this, something I want to put out there? It's just like anything else. Like, you don't want to broadcast every conversation you have. And so it's just one of those types of things where, I don't want to point a camera at, my friends' faces and be like, hey, let's talk. I think it's great if you have a friend group like some of these vloggers do, who they all do car stuff together. They're all crazy and they're all entertaining and hilarious in their own ways. And you have your own cast essentially, and you guys can the vlog is an excuse to hang out and have fun and get into adventures and stuff. And that's great. Unfortunately, just again, I kind of chose the more professional path with my channel with the car reviews and stuff. And because of that, if I want to keep that up, then I don't have time to go hang around with friends and screw around. So that's kind of the limitation there with the vlogs. But it'd be, I mean, who knows? With the way YouTube is changing and social media is changing, I'm gonna, say never for anything. There's always a chance that, if live streams are all that people want to see in the future or something, like maybe I just, do random lives all the time and it's just more personal stuff like that when I feel like doing that or something. If that's all that people want to watch in the future, I mean, we'll just have to see. There's any number of ways things could go. And so, yeah, that's if we're still in the wild west of the internet, who knows? But let me see. Moving on here. See, I think Dom said, "Hey, Beth, what brand / car do you remember most growing up?"
I would say maybe Hummer, because it came out. I feel like, and like it was like all my friends were like, "We want a Hummer," and we were like in elementary school. But other than that, I think like maybe not necessarily brands, but like types of cars. My family always had a van, like a minivan growing up, because I had 2 other sisters, so there were 5 of us. But like I was very excited about SUVs growing up because like most of my friends' parents had SUVs and stuff. So I always was just like, I want an SUV. Like now I don't want an SUV. Like, I mean, I have one, I guess, but like, yeah, I was like, I don't want a van. I don't want a van. And I know the convenience of a van. I completely understand it, but I only have 1 kid, so I don't need a van.
Right. Yeah. And let me see. Austin says he likes small cars as well.
Exactly, yes.
So you're in good company here. Jay says that literally reminds me learning to drive in my parents' 2000 Sienna SE, one side opening for rear passengers and no roof rails.
Oh man.
At least the Siennas back then weren't too big, right? So it was kind of a more manageable size, but still obviously big, especially for the time. But yeah, those old Siennas are great. Danny says, what do you think of the 2024 Chevy Traverse as a family car? My family were considering it to replace our 19 Traverse. The new Traverse seems really nice. I've been requesting one from Chevy. They haven't gotten me into it yet, but I'm hoping to do a review on that. It won't be this year because, again, I'm so backlogged right now that I already know basically all the cars I'm going to be posting this year, outside of if there's any new media drives that pop up that I'll kind of plug in as I go. But outside of that, press car wise, I already have the rest of the year booked. So it won't be this year, but it will be sometime hopefully early next year when I finally review the 2024 Traverse in 2025. That one, they've just been slow with sending me for some reason. Austin says, hey, Matt, what would you do if, or hey, Beth, what would you do if Matt started wearing fedoras every day? She would not be associated with me.
I think it's fine. That's what he loves, and I will fully support that. But
I haven't worn a fedora, like actually worn one in so many years.
Yeah, it hasn't. I just like it's cute as like a
photo shoot
but
thing
like
or something.
but not every day. Come on. I mean, like
I wish they were like, socially acceptable every day. Some people can pull it off. I am not the kind of person.
Well, the thing is with him is that like he would want to wear it as like a timepiece almost. So he would have to wear it correctly at the correct angle and like have
for
it
the
be
Bogart look.
Like he's like, I have to look a specific way, and like it's just. No,
I gave up on that one a long time ago. It's not again.
But we have he has a full hat rack of fedoras, and they're very nice. They're very nice, nicely decorative over here.
Yeah, I sometimes glance up at them and sigh, and then continue on with my life. Anyway, Goodstick says, Beth, do you call your SUV a Mustang or a Mach-E?
I don't call it anything. I call it my car. Yeah. To be honest, I don't know.
That's true. You never even really say either name. I call it
No.
Maki all the time.
Yeah,
but-
he calls it Maki. I really don't call it anything. I'm always just like my car.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Trucking Car Guy says she would hate my Lancer has no tech aside from a very mid 2000 CD player. Well, I mean, that's what we all lived with for a long time.
The CD player is so great. I like wish that I still had a CD player because I have so many CDs, and for the longest time I continued to buy CDs so that I could get that so I could get the music on my iPod because I don't know, I just like CDs.
Yeah, I just like the reliability of not having to bother with streaming stuff all the time. So I miss them too. And he said on the bright side, it's too old to have piano black plastics in it.
Yeah, that's so great. Like, what the heck was that?
Such a bad trend.
Yeah, man.
Spy Harpy says, does Beth know how to drive a manual? Did you let her drive your Bullet when you had it? We've gone over this one before, but I'll brace myself here.
Listen, okay. So my dad taught me how to drive a stick on his Forester, on a Subaru Forester years ago. I can do it. Once I get it going, it's fine. But Matt wouldn't let me touch the Bullet with a 10-foot pole.
You rode in it and stuff.
Well, yeah, he wouldn't let me drive it.
Yeah.
He was like, I would literally die if you touched this. Yeah. And I'm so just because before we got rid of it, when we had it and we were planning on having it forever, I said, will you let our daughter drive it? And he's like, probably. And so I said, okay, cool. So you'll never trust me, but you'll trust her.
But I feel like it's also like you didn't really have a desire to actually drive it though.
No, I don't care. I mean, I don't care.
It's not like she's been like pining in the corner to like go for a ride or drive the Mustang ever. Like, I think I
am fully in. I love being a passenger princess. I dislike driving a lot, but
yeah. So that's if you like desperately were like, please, like, I'd love to take it out for like a fun drive or something.
No, you would not have let me.
Okay, well, here's the thing. So I would be like, okay, let's like find a way to teach you manual on something else.
Yeah, he said something else, but then he was like,
she has proven a good proficiency with the manual, then we'd be like, okay, now I'm confident that the clutch won't get roasted, and then I'd be good.
He won't even let me try on a press car. So like,
well, then I just don't want to get in trouble for that getting screwed up.
What am I gonna do? Like one time grind the gears?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. It would be not the end of the world. Like
I know how to drive a stick.
All right. Well, how about this? Next manual press car I get, I will check with the manufacturers to make sure that they're just to make sure that they're okay with us maybe showing a stall or two on camera if that were to happen. Not saying it would. And then I think I will be getting that Miata at some point this fall, and it is a manual if they send me the one I think they're sending me. So, I mean, that would be a great video of teaching you to drive manual in a new Miata. Or you could just do it off camera, and you could then come back on a live in the future and be like, I finally drove a manual for the first time in 10 years or whatever. But I'm sure they would. I know people. Yeah, I see the hundreds. People wanted to see a video of
me teaching we've jumped manual. Up a lot of viewers.
Oh yeah, did it pop up?
You're done right, did it?
So yeah, I mean, that could be a fun video, just kind of an extra little bonus thing.
Do you see his like cringe face right now? He's freaked out.
I would have to,
so
again,
nervous.
Well, I just wouldn't want it like getting screwed up. So I would make sure the manufacturer's cool with it, and then that's it.
He makes it seem like I'm going to like just annihilate everyone. Like I'm on GTA and I'm gonna just like down everybody down the street. Like, come on now. I'm very careful with things, but he's like, oh no, she's just really gonna do it this time.
It's not even like a knock against you.
Oh yeah, it is. Women.
No, that's definitely not that. Here we go. No, it's not. Jeez, you're really throwing me under the bus here. No, it's just that anyone who has not driven a manual regularly gets rough with it. I even get rough if I now, especially they don't have the Bullet. I haven't driven a manual for months, then I'm like, oh wait, like I'm gonna be jerky the first few shifts. because I don't do it every day, and that's
Put
just
me
part of it.
on Amazing Race. I could do it.
Oh yeah, that's a great challenge, and it's always like people are like, what do I do with a manual transmission? We're like, are you serious? I feel like everyone should know that before they go on Amazing Race. But anyway, woof. Anyway, moving on here. Let me see. Danny says she'd hate my grandma's 09 Accord because it also has no tech and the factory CD player. Good Stick says it would be ironic and sad if you found your Mini or your first car in the junkyard on one of your junkyard tours. That would be sad. Yeah, the Mini I know has been wrecked, but I think the junkyard is in Ohio. I covered that in one of the other videos when I did my look back on my all of my old cars recently. That was like, I guess, last year, so not recently, but I did cover that. But yeah, I'd love to find my first car. That would be amazing. I hope it's on the road still.
Cry.
Yeah, well, I mean, I grew up with that car for sure, but I mean, I unfortunately didn't keep it very long before the Spec B came into the picture, and I dumped the first car like a hot rock. Yeah, I feel bad.
Start the tiny violin over here.
Yeah, no, I wish I would have kept it though. It would have been fun. Let me see. So Jay says, what happened to the MR2 coming back as a hybrid, or was it a fake? There's rumors about MR2. I don't know which rumors to believe. The actual concept thing that Toyota showed back in the fall was Beth skipping ahead in the comments. In the fall was like an all electric, very high end kind of thing. It would probably be more like a Corvette competitor than an MR2 in spirit as far as an affordable, mid-engine runabout like they were supposed to be. So, I just don't know if the actual affordable one's coming, if we're going to see that or not. But there's been no word. There's been no confirmation. And honestly, the rumors are so all over the place. Some people have said, it'll be like $20,000 and be slow, but it'll be cheap. And others are saying it's going to be a little bit more substantial. And I just don't know what to believe, honestly. So I'm just going to wait and see. I know there's people probably love doing tons of clickbait videos and speculating endlessly, but I'm just like, I'm going to sit this one out until we have something a little more concrete, or at least some spy shots, because I don't think we've seen any spy photos, at least personally. I haven't seen any spy photos at all of any kind of MR2. So that's the thing, you hear these rumors and these reports, and it's like, okay, well, if you see even a mule or you see something running around with camo that looks a little suspicious and it gets photographed, like then you can be like, okay, well, maybe there's actually something going on here. But until you see anything spied, to me, it's hard to give any credibility to that kind of stuff, because you got to get it out on the roads if it's actually happening. And they do that, especially the Japanese companies do that at least a year or two before it's ever seeing the light of day. So, I mean, you got a long lead time there. So I'd say wait for spy photos before you get too excited about anything like that. Let me see. Austin says, I'm also with Beth on the Tesla hate, and the Model Y especially is one of the goofiest looking cars on the road. Yeah, to each their own.
There's so many around here that it's like every other person has a Tesla.
I mean, it was the best selling car in the world last year with the Model Y. So, I mean, that's just, a lot of people obviously have no complaints with it. And I'm glad that it does well for Tesla, even if I don't fully understand it. But Good Stick says, have you guys seen the new Deadpool and Wolverine movie? It's not for kids, but it's hilarious and fun.
I haven't seen it, but I would see it. I love Deadpool.
Yeah.
I thought that the Deadpool movies were pretty good, the past few ones.
We just don't get to movies very often, but hopefully we'll see it at some point here, because I definitely would be open to it. Austin says maybe live stream some car reviews occasionally. Could be interesting. Yeah, so the thing about, and this is, sorry,
no,
I don't want to go to a long thing. I'll try and keep this brief. The problem with lives that I'm still trying to reconcile for myself and just for public consumption is run times. I know a lot of people are fine putting something on in the background and that's it, and they don't care about that. Some people actually like long things that they can just like turn on and forget about and not have to seek and be constantly clicking around to new videos all the time. But okay, like if I were to live stream a car review, I mean, it usually takes me 2 to 3 hours to film a car review. So if I were going to cover all the same talking points, it'd be a 2 to 3 hour long live stream of me just doing what I usually do. And, like you said, maybe it'd be like a cool, like behind the scenes thing. What?
Because it might not be if you're just doing like a one taker.
I mean, if I didn't have fancy shots and stuff, that would eliminate some of the time a little bit, but still you just like whenever I do car reviews, like I'm not talking nonstop. So it's like, okay, like I talk a little bit whenever I first start driving, and then like usually there's a little bit of a lull before I get to like the back road part where I accelerate, and usually there's a little bit of a lull until I get to the windy part, and then I have to drive a little bit more to get to the highway part that I do, and so there's a lot of gaps there that I could fill with me just BSing about whatever, but like I'm not confident that would make for an interesting thing. Now, if maybe it's like a member exclusive, like behind the scenes thing, but then with stuff like that, I still need to put something out for the manufacturer from a public standpoint. If they're sending me the car, I have to make a public video on it. But if I were to like have some extra time and I could like kind of refilm or something, or if there was a day where you could just like come along with me and maybe instead of us doing a produced like behind the scenes thing, you could literally like you just hold the phone and you just follow me around and we're all just doing the whole thing live, and it's like, okay, now he's turning the camera off, turning it back on again, and we're doing this, and you just like
but
do
then
that just
I
like
feel
one
like we
time.
have to worry
maybe.
about like internet and stuff
What?
too. Like internet if you're live streaming it.
Oh, that's true. We do have a lot of dead zones around here. So yeah, that's actually a really good point. It would drop out for sure on a couple of the roads where I know I can't even hold a phone call on some of the roads that I film on sometimes.
No.
Okay, well that squashes that completely. You're right.
Oh,
That's
so sorry.
No, but no, that's a good point because I would probably I wouldn't have even thought about that, and I'd be like, oh, let me just do this, and it would start breaking up, and then it just wouldn't work.
Yeah, it's like literally where we live in Pittsburgh, it's hilly. It just drops out in a valley.
Yeah. I see we have a super chat. So thanks so much, Run Wild with Milwaukee Buck for the super chat. He says, hey, Matt, I sent you a pic on your Facebook group page about a 2025 Dodge Neon SRT4. I think it's fake. I mean, I'd love to see Neon come back. I think there's some certain appeal. I think it would make sense and be a good idea. And maybe they'd lead off with an SRT4 version. But yeah, I can't imagine that. No. I wish I had info. That'd be exciting. But no, the thing is there. Sorry, I'm just looking up into the ceiling.
Oh, You're looking
at the fedoras.
I'm looking at the fedoras because everyone wants to see you in one. So
is that what they're asking for?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay, well, you can take your pick and embarrass me however you like here in a minute.
Well, I know. We'll just let you get to your place.
Hornets are sitting around on dealer lots. Like no one's buying Hornets.
What are you talking about? We're seeing them all the time.
Yes, we have been seeing them a lot, but I told them it's because they're giving them away.
Oh, right. True.
Like they're just like not super appealing, and everyone typically loves SUVs. The average consumer, if you gave them the choice of a Neon or a Hornet, they're going to probably pick the Hornet. And so if they can't even move Hornets, and I'd say they kind of have an SRT thing with that, with the RT, which is the plug-in hybrid, which is, I think, realistically what you could expect from a new Stellantis affordable little Dodge. I think Hornet RT is what they would say is a next or a successor, spiritual successor to a Neon SRT4. Obviously, to us enthusiasts, it's a far cry. And that's a hilarious notion to even suggest, but that is, I think, kind of what if you told Dodge, hey, we want a Neon SRT4, they'd say, we got a great Hornet RT over there. And maybe they could, drop that down and, do a sedan and take that same Hornet packaging and pop it into a little sedan. But again, if they can't move SUVs, which should be the more popular option, then I mean, I don't think there's any idea that they're going to ever try any kind of sedan like that. I'm pretty sure if you saw a picture of something, pretty guaranteed that is fake. I will check it out though. I didn't see what you sent me there, so I will check that out. Thanks for sending it over. I will certainly look into it and I'll get back to you for sure once I check that out. But unfortunately, that's probably fake, and I wish it was real. And let me see here. Where were we?
I think we were.
No, we're down here, I think. Yeah, Spy Harpy says, my friend's girlfriend calls the grab handle in the car the Jesus handle. Sometimes use it for real life when he drives. Yeah. Okay, gotcha. That's sorry.
I can figure these things out.
Appreciate it. Yeah. So yeah, that's I don't think I've heard it called that before. That I can see how that could apply. Chad says we love smaller, practical sized cars. Living in northern Florida, it's crazy to see the waste of space and gas from single drivers and Armada's excursions. And actually, since you mentioned that, I found a crazy stat this week that apparently only 10% of vehicles driven ever have a passenger on a daily basis. So of all the cars driving around there, 9 out of 10 of them are being driven solo.
Which is so crazy because I have always liked a small car, and I nannied 3 kids and I still had a small car, and it's just like,
and they survived and it worked.
Yeah, and it was fine. But I was like, I'm like, when it came time to like get a new car, it was like, do you want a bigger car? Because like eventually when we have kids, like whatever. And I'm like, I'm going to keep a small car for as long as possible because like it's only me driving half the time in my car. So like,
and we also don't haul large things. Like some people, it's like, they're just throwing a ton of crap in the back if they have hockey gear or something like that. You need something big too.
Which is fair. But yeah, I just was like, I'm going to stay as small of a car as I need to. It's just because like, what's the point? And then you think, okay, if you have ever been anywhere but the US,
yeah,
everybody has tiny cars. Like we went to the UK and just driving past people, like even when we were in France, we were driving past people in teeny tiny cars and everybody was in, like they were full of people. And so it's just like, for me, I'm like what's like, are we as Americans just like being too like over consuming of like humongous things? Like I don't know, I'm sure that's a whole nother rabbit hole to go down. But yeah, I just like smaller cars, and there's nothing against bigger cars. I would have a big car if I needed, but like for me, I'm like, it's not necessarily a need for me, so
yeah,
then I just don't need it.
Yeah, but I mean, I think when I saw that statistic this past week, though, I was like, well, this makes so much sense why so many companies are moving to these driver-centric cockpits. And we are annoyed about that in our interior reviews sometimes. It's like, well, what about the passenger? And some companies have started, thinking about the passenger more. But from a statistic standpoint, if only 10% of cars are driven with a passenger, then why would you think about the passenger when you're designing an interior? And so these are the types of things too that, like, from our standpoint or anyone else's, like, well, why do they do this? This makes no sense to me. And we, think we have all the information, but we don't. And it's like, then you hear a statistic like that, and it's like, ding, ding, ding. Okay, well, this is why they're doing driver-centric cockpits. And obviously, I still appreciate companies that do consider the passenger. And I think for certain vehicles, obviously, the statistics are higher. We're talking averages here. We're talking minivans or three-row crossovers. Probably chances are it's a higher percentage. But when you talk about all cars in general, 10%. So I think, that there's a lot of those kind of things that really illuminate why companies do what they do sometimes. And I wish there's more of those stories that were told. And I wish companies even told us, like, well, like, you don't like the screen being curved like this, but guess what? Everyone told us they wanted it this way. I mean, there's sometimes where companies do tell me those types of things, where they're like, this is what they requested. I mean, Mazda CX-70 was a prime example of this. Myself as well. I was like, why does the same car as a CX-90, but they put a new name on it and pulled out the third row and called it an entirely different thing? And then, as I explained in my CX-70 video, they had various reasons why customers wanted this and why this made sense for dealers and why this was the better way to go. For all of us on the outside looking in, it seemed insane and stupid. But then once I talked to the people actually making the decisions and the people that actually have all the information, I'm like, you're not crazy. This makes a lot of sense. And it was kind of a very humbling moment of like, we don't always have all the information. And even myself, I shouldn't act like I do, because a lot of times, I'm still on the outside looking in, just like all of you often are, so that's just a good thing. And this is why, with criticism, sometimes you got to be, careful, because just because you don't like it doesn't mean that the statistics or other people are going to agree with you, Anyway, moving on here. Sorry for the tangents. But Austin says that seals it, fedora at the junkyard. Oh, that would be cool. Yeah, especially if I was at a vintage junkyard, that could make it a little more appropriate. But Dylan says, Matt and a fedora, we've got to see this. You could watch. I did one of my first reviews.
Which one do you want? Oh,
whatever one you want. I don't care.
What do you mean?
I mean, so that's my probably one of my favorite ones.
All right. Well, then
but there's also that one's from my grandfather.
My gosh. Okay. Jeez.
Well,
just pick one then.
Like I said, you pick whatever you want. Either one, the brown one or the black one.
You can put it on because I know
it's so dusty because I haven't even I haven't done anything with it in years. But this one, for anyone who's a Mad Men fan, I bought this whenever Banana Republic did the partnership with Mad Men, and this was one of the hats. And so I will pop it on for you guys.
Yeah, see,
I gotta do a little bit. I don't go crazy, but I gotta do a little bit of a tilt because if it's flat, then it looks kind of silly. Like you gotta do a little bit. Again, I don't pretend to be an expert or even pretend like I even look good in them, but I don't know. Something about a fedora is like very soothing. Just like I don't know. I just like wearing them, but again, I will not try to pull them off. I'm so jealous when I see people that look so damn good in them, and I'm like, man, I wish I could pull it off. I so badly wish I could pull it off, and I'm so jealous of people that can. Yeah, we got those for free at the Pirates game. That was a cool giveaway. That was back in the day.
Should I tilt it like this? Does this sound?
Yeah, there you go. Mm-hmm. See, I don't know.
Putting on the Ritz.
I still think it's a good look, but
I did perform that when I performed it in Disney World.
Oh, nice. Yes. Humble brag. But anyway, let me see. Ben says, I've noticed the YouTube algorithm has been feeding me some slightly older videos recently. I rewatched your review on the 2014 GT500 last night. Thank you for the views. Yes, and that's cool. Thank you for the feedback. I'm always curious, like, how people find this. I mean, the algorithm or the analytics tell me how people find the videos sometimes, but it's mostly just like, does it come from search? Is it a recommended video? Is it suggested? Whatever. But that's cool that because obviously I'm biased, but I think I've done a lot of really cool videos in the past. And I think a lot of those got buried and are videos that are still really relevant. And unless you're actively searching for that video, you're never going to see that. And especially if you're someone who hasn't been watching the channel, these past 10 years, there's a lot of cool stuff that you might have missed. And if you're ever bored someday, just click onto the car reviews playlist and scroll down a bunch and see what pops up that maybe you haven't seen before. That might be kind of a fun one to watch. There's a bunch of, again, I've done over 700 car reviews at this point, so there's a lot of fun stuff I've been very fortunate to do. But thanks for the feedback on that, Ben. Austin says we got to do a fedora poll because Good Six asking about a poll, but there we go. We just went for it.
You're welcome.
I'm not brave enough to do a poll on how many people actually think it looked good. Yes, I don't want to know the real answer there. But let me see. So we got another super chat there from Mr. I've got another one too. Sorry, Chad, I missed yours here. Let me hit that first. So Chad, thank you for the super chat. He says Volkswagen making an all-electric Lightning Bug.
You said let me.
What?
You said let me. No.
What? I missed it.
You said let me hit that first.
Oh, hit that one first. Sorry. Anyway, I think Volkswagen has said they don't want to do an electric Beetle. People have been asking for it, and I think it's a fantastic idea. Yeah, I think it's especially with everyone talking about these $25,000 affordable cars. Hello, the Beetle was the people's car. If you want to have a people's EV, make it truly stripped down like the original Beetles, and
it's still fun seeing those around.
Yeah, I think it'd be a great idea, but Volkswagen's been very resistant when people ask in the interviews. They've said, we've done the Beetle thing already. We're doing the Volkswagen bus for the new nostalgic thing. We don't want to do a Beetle. Quit asking, essentially. And I'm like, okay, well, that's your choice, but I don't think it's a good choice. But again, I don't know about the information. Maybe they have a bunch of data that suggests that everyone absolutely hates Beetles or something. I don't know, but I agree. To me, it'd make a lot of sense. And Mr. 504, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, what are your thoughts on rumors of Chrysler and Dodge being bought back possibly to the U.S. and hopefully the return of the Plymouth name and V8? So we just talked about this a little bit ago. So I definitely want to answer your question still, but I also don't want to re-say everything I said from a little while back. Dave says, Fedora suits Beth better. I
Thank
mean,
you.
I totally understand.
you.
I agree. But anyway, so as far as just highlights of what I said a little bit earlier. The idea of that I think is far-fetched. I think would be interesting. There's lots of people that obviously have ideas for how they would like the brand to go, but there's market realities and limitations and things that you can only do so much. So there's only so much I think that can be done there. I'm not sure how wealthy the grandson of Chrysler is who wants to do that. If he's, a billionaire or something, maybe he can pull it off. But if he's not that rich, it's going to be really hard unless you have a ton of investors that are super amped about his plan, in going up against Stellantis and also wanting to buy it off of Stellantis, which would not come cheap. I mean, there is a ton of money. And like I was talking earlier, just Aston Martin, they have I think Lawrence Stroll, who's a billionaire, came on to save them. And, that's the kind of money it takes. So again, I don't know how wealthy that person is, but I mean, it's cute if you got a few million or even a couple 100 million, but like for a massive car company, that's nothing. We're talking like huge amounts of money. I mean, they invest, hundreds of millions of dollars just to bring out the new generation of vehicles and stuff like that. I mean, we're talking massive, massive money. So anyone can talk about, I'd like to buy this brand. Sure. I'd like to buy Mitsubishi and bring back the Evo, the 3000 GT and, have a field day. But like, that's a very, very far-fetched thing. So I don't think there's anything to that. I mean, he's sincere that he would like to, and I would like to buy all kinds of stuff as well, but I don't know if it's actually ever going to go anywhere. I don't think it will though. But it's a fun idea, and I'd love to hear more of his thoughts on how he would like to bring it back and what he would do differently. I don't know if he has any kind of website or any info, but I'd love to hear his thoughts and his ideas. I think it'd be fun. Maybe they could bring him on as a consultant or something potentially, if he'd be open to that. But so anyway, thank you so much for the super chat, Mr. 504. And let me see other member questions here. Let me see. I know we're lagging behind, and I'm talking too much here. Brian says he still has his CDs to this day. And see more of the Fedora excitement there. Austin says actually do an entire car review in black and white film noir detective style.
Oh God, he'd love that.
I would love that.
He would love that. I'm like, that's okay.
And then that would be like my farewell video or something of like I have no.
Look at him driving off into the sunset.
Yeah, like I have no more dignity at that point, and I can just ride off my way and never have to worry about the fallout of that. But I appreciate the fun idea, Austin. I will
he loves LA Noire. He
one of my favorite video games. Brianna says put moonshine in a beater car and see how it runs. Those videos have done very well for very many YouTubers, and those types of things. I just don't like being stranded in cars, so that's like to me that idea stresses me out because I'm like, oh man, like what if I stop at a bad spot, and what if someone like gets mad, and like I'm like I get too anxious to do that kind of stuff. So I know there's others that are more carefree with their personalities that are better suited to that, but for me, I would be way too anxious to do anything like that unless I own some giant private airstrip or something. And let me see. Good success. Toyota manual transmission has beeps when to upshift and downshift. If you can get a manual Toyota, Beth could probably have a go. I mean, you'd be good with it. You don't even need the beeps. You'd be set. You know how to do it. It's again, it's the smoothness. It's just the smoothness. That's the only thing.
Yeah, it's just that it's like maybe the first time I go on, it's fine. But like, geez. Kick me when I'm down, right?
Yavinder says, "Hey Matt, thanks for stopping by, Yavinder." And he says, "Make a reaction video to one of your old reviews. That would be fun." Yeah, that would be fun, especially if we should do it together. Because if I did it, I'd just be cringing the whole time. But if you did it, then you could actually
make fun of
take
you.
Take some good shots, and
I
would be taking actual shots to endure that. But no, that'd be fun for sure. Again, I have so many of these fun ideas. That's one of the things I actually have written down, like something to do in the future. It's just, the time. It's really just the time. It's unfortunate. I wish I had so much more time because I have so many fun ideas, and
they were so cringy though.
Yeah, like
They
I
were,
said,
like,
if you
really
want to see me
cringy.
review a car in a Fedora, go watch. I believe it was a 2013 Chevy Malibu review. It's like, I think the third review I ever did or something like that. It was a rental car that I had as a loaner while my Spec B was in for service, I think, or the BRZ, one or the other. And I had it for the day and did the review, and I'm wearing a fedora the whole time. And you'll see there's a few people who are like either OGs or people that have gone back and watched the old stuff that like are commenting and like having a blast watching that. And so yeah, that has remained online. Maybe
Well,
against my
it
better
definitely was
judgment.
like interesting when we like first met and everything, and I like saw his videos and I was like, huh, okay, that's fine.
you
He was
made your
really
peace with
intense.
it.
He was really intense to when
Yeah,
he was starting out. It's okay. It's just
yeah,
it's the brand. So
yeah.
I
Those
married him, so
reactions, yep. Yeah, you made your peace with it. And let me see. Yeah. Austin says, I think a 30 to 45 minute is good for a live stream. Otherwise, people's attention span will falter. Yeah.
here we are at an hour and 48 minutes.
Yeah, and we still have 90 people, thankfully, that are still interested in watching. So I appreciate everyone for watching. But yeah, I agree. For those informal ones, 30 to 45 minutes, which for the junkyard one would be kind of tough. That is, the other thing again, that'd be a trial and error thing. But the yard that I can, get access to pretty easily, that one to actually stop and look at stuff and walk the whole yard. I mean, it's not enormous, but like that I'd be kind of hustling to do that in even 45 minutes, I think. So, I think the nice luxury with lives is being not rushed and not having to be presenter like blah, blah, blah. I can like actually be like, and like take pauses and breathe and all these things that I can't do usually in a regular review. So I think I would try and be a little slower pace, honestly, with the lives. And so that would balloon but again, if people are like, dude, I only watched 5 minutes of this and I had to click away, then I'm like, all right, well, I gotta find some way to shorten this up. So we'll see. But I'm hoping that's something I can, makes a little bit of time to do and see what happens. But Antonio says, what are your choice of drinks for tonight, Beth and Matt?
Yeah. Oh no.
It's not
Oh,
focusing.
No.
Maybe come back a little bit. I think it's
no.
just trying to focus on
Oh
us
my
instead.
gosh. It's a black raspberry acai water. It's okay. It's not my favorite.
And I'm just drinking regular water. Nothing
I
exciting.
just like carbonated. I like carbonation, so flavored waters are great.
Yeah. Patrick says, do a 3-minute live on Instagram to tease the full review on YouTube.
I said he should do that, but he has not.
I mean, I don't remember talking about that, honestly. Maybe a long time ago.
Here we go.
But no, I mean, that's a good idea. Yeah. And that's something I could do. Yeah, I've never done a live on Instagram. I'm not sure. I mean, I guess it's always worth a shot and see, because I'm sure Instagram would probably like that. They were pushing lives pretty hard, but I feel like they don't push live streams very much on Instagram anymore. Is that even a thing? I haven't seen anyone go live on Instagram.
Yeah,
in a long
people
time.
still go
They
live.
do? Okay.
Yeah, every once in a while. I feel like I see like celebrities going live, but I don't ever really check in.
Okay. Well, yeah, maybe that'd be something I could try as well. Just a quick little thing. Appreciate the suggestion there, Patrick. And Trucking Car Guy says he still sees a few neons running around. That's awesome. I hardly ever see one. It's super rare. I see maybe a couple a year. That's about it. I like the emoji, Antonio, for the fedora time. Yavinder says, if Lincoln was to make an EV sedan, would Town Car be a good name, considering EVs are great in town? That is logical. I think Town Car, though, is just kind of a stuffy, kind of like old person kind of name, honestly. So I think if they were to do it, it'd just be Continental, which again isn't a super cutting edge name either. But I think Continental is a little bit more exciting.
They got to get people on the name game, I guess, right?
Yeah.
And figure it out.
Yeah.
Maybe a new name instead of the old
nice
names.
Too. Yeah, since they like doing the like nautical kind of themes and stuff. I mean, they could do
Ahoy! I'm kidding.
Yeah, there you go. Someone should do that. That'd be hilarious. Antonio says, let's be realistic. The Dart was the neon. Absolutely. The Dart was the successor, and they were close to doing an SRT4 version, and then that got killed. I'm not sure why exactly, but I remember there was some kind of backstory about that. There's something out there you can probably Google if you're curious. But yeah, that would have been so cool because the Dart I thought was a great car. I know it's an unpopular opinion, but I thought it was great, and an SRT4 version would be cool. And Austin says he'd rock a new one. They'd probably make it electric if they brought it back. Yeah, probably, or be like the plug-in hybrid again, like the Hornet RT, which I think could still be cool. But Good Stick says the Dodge Caliber SRT4 is also forgotten. True, and I never reviewed one, but I did drive one once, and man, that thing was a mess. The worst torque steer I've ever experienced in a car. I mean, if you went full throttle in that thing, you were wrestling with the car to stay straight. Phew. Like to stay in a straight line took so much effort in that thing. It was hilarious. And I mean, I guess if you enjoy the challenge, and you weren't worried about actually driving in a sporting manner as far as like a good sporty experience. I mean, it was hilarious, but the Caliber was just, man, they seemed like they were not well made. They weren't very well engineered. I don't know. I mean, I haven't driven one in a long time, but yeah, that's something that I wouldn't mind revisiting just for laughs in a video. That'd be fun. But Austin says the Caliber was certainly a car of the all time. Yeah, it was a car of the time, and it was a choice for sure. Dave says, do you think the Chrysler buyout could actually happen? Yes, we covered that now. It's interesting. There's so much interest in that, though. Honestly, I didn't think that story was super popular. I just saw it kind of in passing and kind of shrugged it off. But yeah, maybe he's got some momentum there behind that idea. So we'll see what happens. Danny says that the regular Caliber was garbage because of the Jatco CVT, right? And Trent Carguy says, I guess I'm guilty since my daily is a wagon. Yeah, wagons are great.
Wagons are so cool. Yeah. My dad has a wagon.
Yep. Yeah, he's got a Buick Regal Touareg, and he loves it. He gets compliments all the time.
Yeah, all the time. People are like, what is that car? Mm-hmm. For real. And he's like, he feels like a celebrity. And I think it really, he
likes it.
Makes him happy.
Right, yeah. And Dave says, I actually like the Caliber when we owned one. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed yours. Our brother-in-law, I guess, yeah, he had one, and he had all kinds of issues with his. He couldn't get out of it fast enough.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So, maybe some of them were good, but yeah, not a great car from our anecdotal experience, at least. Zachary says the solo driving thing is why Babs went with the MDX. We do need to haul the kids around, but it drives smaller than it is, and it's really fun. Nice. Yeah. And I mean, the
MDX is great.
Yeah.
I really liked the kids I nannied for. They had an MDX, which was really great until the power steering went, but it was an older car. So that was like hard because I was getting out of the daycare parking lot, which was real small. And I had to like pull it so that I could reverse. I was like, what's wrong with this car? And I talked to the dad, and he was like, oh yeah, the power steering went. I'm like, thanks, would have been nice to know before I drove it.
Yeah. But yeah, hopefully, yeah, yours is good. The new ones are fantastic.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not trying
that
to
was
scare
that was an old one.
Yeah, that was old. This was like 10 years ago.
Yeah, MDXs are great. And yeah, I agree about it feeling smaller. You're right. It does drive and feel smaller than Lexus TX and some of those others too. So yeah, I'm glad you found something that works great for you. That's awesome. And honestly, I prefer the regular MDX over the Type S. I'm not sure if you're considering the Type S, but honestly, I think I would probably go for the regular one as well. So I think you made a great choice for sure. Danny says, here's a forgotten GM J-body, the 93 Cavalier RS Wagon. Sure, it was only offered with a 3-speed auto, but still a forgotten J-body. I mean, and that's just, I'm nostalgic of those kinds of days when GM could justify a sporty wagon version of the Cavalier, even with the automatic. They offered it. I mean, just unthinkable kind of decision making you could never see these days, sadly. Austin says, does anyone remember the Dodge Copperhead concept car? It was going to be a cheap diesel sports car. I think I remember I had a Hot Wheel car of that at some point, but yeah, and I think I saw that a long time ago. Yeah, that one's very fuzzy in my memory, but I vaguely remember that. Austin says Mad Men was an amazing show. I agree. One of my favorite shows of all time. Glad you like it as well, Austin. And Antonio says Fedora Fiends. There we go. It could be the new channel. Me just embarrassing myself in public in fedoras. That could be a vlog channel. Dylan says wearing fedoras, sipping whiskey. I don't wear my fedoras while I sip whiskey. That would be that could be. You're giving me ideas now, and that would increase my enjoyment of my whiskey probably if I was wearing my fedora.
Have your whiskey when you're filming the weekly update.
Yeah.
Like whiskey, let me put on my hat.
Get the complete look, yeah. Which, speaking of whiskey and stuff, I have been working on a new merch store, and I'm not making whiskey. That would be cool.
Oh my gosh!
But
you're gonna give it all away.
No, I'm not. I'm going to just say, stay tuned. I got some fun drinking related things coming for the merch store. You
couldn't have just handed it to them.
No, there's there's a variety of things.
Oh,
so
man.
I'm not saying what things, but there's there's some fun.
Link in the bio.
Not yet. Yeah.
I know, I was just kidding.
But yeah, so stay tuned. I'm waiting for samples to come back for some of the merch that I'll be offering, and it's gonna be a whole new store, completely new, brand new.
You know those videos where the sunglasses come down,
yes.
He needs the fedora to sound on the side.
Just animate whenever I have a burn on a car or something. Just drop the fedora in.
That's it.
Hey, I'd happily become a meme as long as it's not.
Put a cigar in your mouth.
Right. Yeah. That would really complete the look. But Antonio says the Pirates one is clean. Beth looks like a mob boss. There you go.
Yes, thank you.
Zachary says fedora sighting in the 2013 Chevy Malibu review. Yep. There you go. And yeah, you definitely suit them better. I agree, Dave. And Austin says maybe if the Buzz is successful, they'll consider the Beetle. Maybe we'll see. I hope so. I would love to see that. And let me see. So Brian says I bought a 18th scale of the 2015 Dodge Challenger SRT Hellcat diecast model. Nice. Yeah, it's always fun getting a new model. I was just at Sam's Club the other day, and they had a bunch of new diecasts they're putting out. I was searching through them to see if there's anything cool to add, but they didn't have anything that I deemed worthy of adding to my collection. They already did. Yeah, they were literally there for a week. Wow. It was they're quick. But Good Six says if you got the EV charger for a week, it would be nice to contact the guy with your Mustang and do a Bullet style chase. That would be amazing. Unfortunately, like I said in the farewell video, the Bullet is in Utah, so that would be a very long drive to do that. But oh man, yes, I would love. When I had the Bullet,
to do that.
Yeah, I really wanted to do some kind of chase recreation, but there's no way to do that without really being hard on the car, and also to actually do that safely and legally and well. A lot of legal hoops, a lot of permits,
and he would want to do it to the T. He would want to do it legitimate.
But when I first bought the Bullet, I actually was kind of everywhere I went, I was kind of scouting potential hills that I could kind of do stuff on. And then, it never was something I was able to make a reality. And oh yeah, you missed the car a little bit there.
A little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. It's, I actually just saw a Bullet this week too, actually driving just nearby here. I saw a Bullet driving by, and that was the first one I'd actually seen since I parted with mine. And it definitely hit me in the feels. It's, yeah, it's still.
Sorry, man. It's got heavy in here.
Yeah, no, it's
but someone get a fedora.
Yeah, that'll make me feel better. Find a happy place. Fedora. Oh, now you're showing them the other ones.
I'm just gonna. What's the next one we're gonna bring out?
But no, I know the Bullet is being enjoyed very well, and so that brings me a lot of joy, and so I'm happy.
Look at this one.
Yeah,
this is the one we got for our daughter when we went to the beach. Isn't that so cute though? It's a baby one, so probably
it doesn't fit her anymore.
It won't fit her anymore, but I had to get it. It was so cute.
Yeah. And Chad, thank you so much for a super chat. He says, first new car, 03 Cavalier Coupe manual. It came with a CD player. The dealer said it was good for one trip to New Orleans before I had to decide. I love that little car. Nice. That's awesome. That's cool. They let you do a little bit of a drive there. And just coupes. I miss just cheap coupes,
cheap coupes.
Yeah, because now they're all just so expensive. And it's probably a weird way to say that, but
everything's expensive.
but like coupes are like this luxury, like sporty thing now, and like it used to just be like people were like, I don't need 4 doors, I'll buy a 2-door. And it was that simple for some people. And I still occasionally will see like the random grandma on like a Toyota Solara or something like that. But like, I just there's a lot of people that just still ended up going for the 4 doors for whatever reason. But let me see. And what's up? Are you looking for the cats?
No,
is anyone requesting them?
No, she was just at she's at the door.
Let me see other questions here. So Danny says is talking about a video about this. Mr. Subaru 1387 made a video today about a rumor of the Subaru Brat or Baja coming back as a rebadged Toyota Stout, which I think would be a cool thing. It would be cool. We will see. Yeah, I don't know where that new Toyota is at. I was assuming it would come faster than it is, but hopefully that comes soon. And I'd love to see a partnership with that as Subaru finally brings the Brat back that we've been requesting for so long. It makes so much sense, I think. But yeah, that'd be great. Yeah, or the Baja, one or the other,
The Brat? Names. I've never heard of a Brat.
Oh, the Brat was the predecessor to the Baja. In the 80s, there was a little Subaru truck called the Brat.
What?
Yeah.
Did you know that this is Brat summer? Why didn't they bring it back?
Yeah, they clearly missed the boat.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow, that's bad.
That's they could have had it made the
Who was
shade.
on their PR?
Yeah. Oh, it's probably.
Do you know their PR?
Well, I know who the people are. Yes,
they really screwed up on that one.
Yeah, they just did not time that well.
No, man.
And Danny says it would use the Toyota hybrid setup and not have the Super all-wheel drive system. I mean, honestly, I know some Super people really love the Super all-wheel drive system, but I think that'd be totally fine. Good Six says Hellcat swapped SRT for Caliber would probably make a Viper look safe. Absolutely. That would be a wild combo. And Danny says, did you check out the twin turbo V12 STI I told you about? I forgot to check that out. No, I'll have to look into that. Yeah, someone did a custom build. I can't
believe you.
Yeah, I know. Shame.
Jeez.
Yep. No, that'd be hilarious to see this. So I definitely want to see that. I'll have to have Beth remind me here. I'm so forgetful.
I'm also giving him crap, but I love him very much.
No, I think everyone enjoys seeing me get crap, so I think it's the better way to do it. Austin says, Doug DeMuro shot glasses. Nice. That would be funny.
Why did you say that?
What?
They're not supposed to know.
Shot glasses?
Yeah, Doug DeMuro shot glasses.
Yep, I know.
Just kidding.
Yep. That would be that's a good idea that I will not execute.
This is Daisy.
Oh, yeah, for anyone. Yeah, people curious.
So I just was gonna add. Sorry, I cut through everybody else.
You're good. Zachary says, let me get my hat. It took me out. Yeah, there you go. Danny said the YouTube channel for the V12 STI is John Prolux. Okay, I'll check. I've got to remember here. We are also over time, so it'll be easier for me to remember. It was over the 2-hour mark to jump back into the chat here and jog my memory if I forget. Austin says it's cool now. San Francisco hasn't really changed that much since the 60s. A lot of the bullet shots are still easy to line up. Yeah, I know. It is. It's great. And I'm still so upset that I didn't do the media drive for the bullet. That was like right when Ford started like actually like paying attention to like the channel, and they invited me on the next program, which was GT500, which was awesome. But like I pulled every string I could to get on the bullet launch. I heard about it. I knew about it. I told Ford. I contacted every single person at Ford. I reached out to like everyone I knew who could potentially put in a good word for me or something, because they did the media drive through the chase route for the 2019 bullet launch. And that really would have been like an actual bucket list thing. And again, something I'm unfortunately never, got a chance to do, in the bullet, but that would have been a dream. But maybe someday we'll see. But Turn Car Guy says, honestly, I'm glad I got both of my cars before getting even a cheap used car. Was difficult. Yeah. Before it was so hard. Yeah. I feel bad for the fledgling enthusiasts. Yeah, it is really tough. Everything is expensive and it's a shame. But hopefully it sounds like car companies are slowly getting the idea that maybe we should have some stuff that's not super expensive, and hopefully that will bring some kind of affordability back even a little bit. Would be nice. So we'll see. And Good Six says, do you think Beth would enjoy being driven around in the V8 Miata you reviewed? You'd probably be terrified in that thing. That thing was pretty wild.
I don't know. I didn't see the video,
so she doesn't even really know anything about it.
I know it was crazy though.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I heard about it.
That was a wild ride, and that thing is still getting views. I'm kind of surprised myself, honestly. I mean, it was a ton of fun. It was a cool video and something that, again, really still no one else has really done since. There's been like one or two other people that drove that car since, but yeah, that thing still, I think it's over 730,000 views now or something. It'll actually, if it keeps up, it'll hit 1 million views, which will be the first video to do that for me in the 2020s here. I think the last time was, probably 2017, 2018, something like that. So that'd be really exciting. We'll see. But Carr says, Beth, if you could change one thing about the auto industry, what would you change? That's a good question.
I don't know. I don't think I'm qualified to answer anything like that because I have no idea.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Center mounted volume knobs and no piano black.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's it. I feel like real weird that I have this kind of shtick with this. Like, I'm like, oh,
it's your thing.
I'm the one who doesn't like it. I don't know. I don't really know too much about the car companies.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, and I feel like you have critiques about individual cars, but outside of the piano black and
like
volume
as
knobs,
like
there's really nothing
companies
else.
in general, like I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know the ins and outs.
I don't think there's any other trends.
Forte, except for a Brat Summer, which clearly we have not
Subaru has not
taken
delivered.
Advantage of.
What a surprise! Yeah, and all right, we'll do the last few here, and then we can wrap up. And let me see. So, yeah, Austin says Stacy's a chill cat.
She is very chill. She just like we haven't. She likes to cuddle with me all the time, and so we haven't cuddled tonight. So she was begging at the door. Look at her face. She's purring on my lap right now. She's not upset. Yeah, she's not upset. She looks like she's pissed, but she's very happy. She will cuddle me. I'll be like going to the bathroom and she'll come in the bathroom like, please just like pick me up. I'm like, I'm going to the bathroom. So she's another child of mine for sure.
Can't leave you alone.
This is my girly. She's almost 10.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Danny says, I have a 4-year-old black lab Great Pyrenees mix named Jackson.
Oh, wow.
That's cool.
Sorry, Great Pyrenees. You don't know what they are, but I do. That's really cool.
After the 70s singer Jackson Brown, one of his nicknames is Jackson Brown. I love him very much. That's awesome.
Wow. Hi, Jackson. I bet that's a pretty dog.
Yeah.
I bet you have a really pretty pup.
And Good Sick says good night. Austin says, last question. What is best opinion of Richard Simmons? Will not
Simmons.
Yeah, that's the troll.
No.
Yeah, we'll move on from that because that is that's one of the unfortunate parts of doing this is the occasional troll issues, which are not fun. That's one of the crappiest parts of this. But Danny says, Sarah and Toon's so cool with her builds. The cars' names are funny, like her MR2 named Mr. Dose, her Forester named Forester Gump, and her Bronco named Pokey. Yeah, I think that's kind of fun to, play those things up. And she's got some awesome builds. Carr says, sounds like Beth would like to see more small cars if she could call the shots. Yeah, I think that's a safe bet there.
Yeah, I feel like there's not a lot of them. Most of the car companies I feel like have gone full SUV or bigger.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, a lot of them. And Carla says, would you go back to gas cars?
I don't know. I feel like it would have to depend, but I just really love being able to like not have to worry about going to the gas station. I don't know.
All the stuff that we've just never have to worry about, oil changes.
And I also just love the pickup of my car and the acceleration and the immediate power. I really would miss that. And I know I do. I'm trying to pull it off. I got cat hairs all over my face now.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, it's the EVs work great for us, but I know it's not everyone. But Chad says, thanks for joining, Beth. We always love seeing both of you. I appreciate that, Chad. And Yeah, it's fun. I'm glad we're able to do this. And good success. How about you include child seat accessibility and how the cars deal with cats? Yeah, I mean, as far as the child seat accessibility, that is something that. What? Yeah.
She's sitting here.
No, she looks pretty content.
Very happy.
She's just got a serious face sometimes. But yeah, I mean, child seats, that's something I do mention sometimes, but that's definitely something I think could use a little bit more attention in the industry in general, because there are some of these cars, it's a pain to put a car seat in, and it's just something, again, it's such a minute amount of people that actually do that, in the average car. So I understand, I'm sure it's not worth obsessing over, but it's nice when car companies do think about it. Danny says the dog is 125 pounds though, and he's so pretty. Yeah.
I would see that puppy. So send that a picture. I want to see your dog.
Yeah, send it over on any social you want, and Beth would love to check it out.
Sorry if that's weird. I don't know.
No, I mean, yeah, that's cool.
I love animals.
And good success. Yeah, see how cars deal with animals in general. Yeah, I think who was the one that did? There's she's just chill. She's just content. She just wants the cuddles. Yeah. There's Andy the Lab, I think, is the reviewer. She did reviews with her dog, and I haven't seen any stuff from her super recently. I mean, I think she still posts stuff. I just don't really follow her super closely, but I mean, that is someone, if you're curious for that kind of stuff, she did great content. Again, I haven't seen if she's done it recently, but great stuff there as far as that perspective of how does this vehicle deal with dogs, and that's really cool. And again, another thing that so many people deal with and not enough people cover. And I if we had a dog, it'd be something I'd totally cover as well, because I think it's important.
Cats are indoors. They just hang out here.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah, Austin says, thanks, Matt and Beth. This was fun. Appreciate it. Austin, glad you're able to join in. And yeah, glad y'all enjoyed it as well. Trent Carter says, my Lancer is dwarfed by basically anything other than an 86 nowadays. Yeah, that's got to be crazy. And Goth Parker says, happy Labor Day. Took the Continental on a 200-mile drive today. That's awesome. Hope you enjoyed it. And happy Labor Day to you and to everyone here in America, and everyone.
Hope you all get a break.
Yeah, have a good week and enjoy yourselves there. And Goth Rockers also says, thanks for doing the news still on Fridays. Thanks for still watching them. The views do fluctuate here. This past weekly update was not very well viewed, but yeah, I'll keep trying as long as it makes sense and see what happens. But appreciate your support. And Spy Harpy said Honda made a dog-friendly element in the day. Nice. Yeah, that car was already really set up well for dogs, I think, in general, because they had like rubber floors and stuff, right? So that was a good car for dogs. That's another car I wish Honda would bring back the element. It makes so much sense.
Literally, my friend from a long time ago, she apparently just posted that she got rid of her element just this week. I'm not even kidding.
That was a good run.
Like, I don't remember that car. And then I was like, whoa, because I've seen 3 of them after she posted that.
That's fine. Yeah, they're still kicking. I see a decent amount of them. I think because people just like love them. They're just great. And yeah, these are the things, like, why is Honda not doing this? This should have been a thing 5-10 years ago, and it's not. But anyway, so yeah, and so we'll wrap up here. I see Cam's asking if the cat's extremely vocal.
Oh, no. When they want dinner, we give them wet food every night. So yes, there's that. But our other cat is definitely more vocal. When she wants something, she likes to meow at me, but it's not like super. They don't talk a ton. But our younger one talks like all the time. If we go downstairs and she's down there, she'll talk to us. And
yeah, she always like greets us when we come home, and she's like,
oh yeah, she greets us at the door. Yeah,
she's really sweet. She'll like just come and say hi, and like sometimes we'll even just be like sitting, and she'll like walk over and be like, and then just like keep going, and just like it's really cute. She's sweet. But yeah, and Dylan says we get a lot of elements at our dealers. It always gets tons of inquiries. Yeah.
Oh, interesting.
You would think. That Honda would do it. I don't know. Anyway, I see Spy Harper also says great chat and happy Labor Day and cars as well. And so thanks so much everyone for stopping by and for joining in here. Hope you enjoyed it. And
thanks for letting me come, everybody.
Yeah, and we'll have to do another Beth and Matt one here a little more regularly here. I'd get back to doing those a little more frequently. But anyway, stay tuned for another live stream, of course, next Sunday night as well. And stay tuned for some more good videos here coming up here this week. But anyway, thank you all very much for watching. And yeah, we'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great Labor Day once again. Take care.
Take care.